name later. I put the wrong name. All right, and we are now live, it says.
Chris,
Maybe.
did you ask me a question? I thought we might chop it up here. Did you ask me something? I gotta start jotting
Uh,
stuff. I think you did.
Let me just double check here. Okay, yep, so it looks like we are live now. Maybe. There might be a slight delay there. Well, it says that we're live, so I'm gonna go with that for right now. So I did send you a couple things, PBO, and
I think
so
you are
one of the
live.
things
I'm
that I
getting
had
a
sent you
notification.
was
Cool.
you didn't get one?
Yeah, I
You
did.
did.
I got a notification in YouTube. So yeah,
Okay,
Oh,
perfect.
we are.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so one of the things I had sent you was about the EU AI, and then
yep. Vendor
I'll
assessment.
have to,
I thought we would chop it up a
yeah.
little bit. It's show. I don't mean to take it, but I didn't know if you want to talk a little bit
Oh
about that
yeah.
live today. I didn't know
Oh
if you
yeah.
had the agenda. So,
Oh no, this is a very casual study hall thing, so um yeah, you can go ahead and go into that.
but I'm trying to make my Zoom big again. I done minimized it. Can't figure out how to
Oh
get it
yeah,
big.
they changed it all around.
Yeah, I'm struggling over here. Okay, yep, okay. That's in there. How can I make it big again? View? Is it the view?
Yeah, there's like a little
Full
arrow in the
screen. I
bottom
see
in
it.
the
Yeah,
right
yeah,
hand.
yeah. I see it. I see
Yeah,
it.
that's one of the things that they had changed around.
Do you
Let me go
mind
back over to that.
sharing that vendor assessment I sent you? I was gonna let you
Oh
go
yeah,
now.
yeah, I can pull that up.
Let's just kind of talk about that at a high level. And that's what I actually use at my medium to small vendors. And we talked about this kind of dovetailing on third-party assessments. I think me and Caesar talked about that third-party assessments. So if you look at NIST, everybody know I'm a NIST guy, NIST bigot. You got supply chain and risk assessment. So for a general company, and two, we're going to talk more about it from a qualitative perspective, right? So when you first start, we always talk about you can do all these things, but usually just going through this is, and everybody know, the thing in the middle is data level, because that's going to tell you what kind of level of assessment you should do. If it's non-PII or just personal information, if it's federal tax information or HIPAA, right, they have their whole standard of encryption, but most of the time it's just PII, it's flat network. We're talking about Zip, some marketing software, it's on the flat network. But two, let me roll back is on supply chain now, they want you to review all your software before you put it on your network, right? So this is more of a compliance check than a security check. So in my office, I would do a compliance check, then I would send it to the security guys, right? Then they're gonna do a vulnerability scan on it, look at the network. Me, from a compliance standpoint, is what type of data is it? Where should it be? And what level of threat should we assign? So once again, at the middle data level, so we talk about it from organization. Once again, this is FTI, which is federal tax information. My specialty is IRS. I do a little HIPAA work. So at the top, you're gonna get the software name, major version, minor version. In the right underneath that company, that's just the standard NIST stuff. So as a auditor, when they come in, what are you doing? Are you doing this, IRS? Chris' favorite thing is CMMC. We were talking about that at work. Thought about my man Chris. So what assessment are you doing? Then underneath that, we just talk about in terms of handling data, X, Y, and Z company. Scroll down to the threats, Chris. Get a little more. Yeah. So usually those are the big three everybody looking for: phishing, ransomware, and malware. Yesterday we talked about nation states and all that, but usually these are the base three. So those threats, and we're going to get down from a mitigation standpoint, scroll down. So you should have software on your network that can mitigate those three: Windows Defender, network segmentation, VPN, or multi-factor authentication. So as an auditor comes in, what threats are you worried about as a company? Two is, what are your organization things to block that? Right. Then as you dig down, software this is a big one. The first time I did it, the auditor didn't like it. You got to tell if you're going to accept or reject the software, right? And I always tell people, especially for junior auditors, make sure you have a couple of rejects in there because they want to see them. Even if you're looking at software you know you're not going to use, they're going to ask you for some rejections. That's where auditors come in, right? We talking about auditors. Once again, I used to work for the state of Indiana. Booz Allen used to come in every 3 years and do an on-site audit. They would ask me for this documentation, right? So we would have it in our SharePoint. Or a lot of times too, if you're a big company, this is the stuff you put in Archer. I'm trying to think of IBM's Webfold, Beyond Trust, all those. Usually your software do this, but if you smile like me and Chris talk, you can do all this stuff on a spreadsheet. You don't need the big software. So a lot of times when I work with small companies, I was like, let's get a SharePoint, let's do a risk assessment. So any software your company's going through, let's do a quick one of these so we can get those on file. The risk level comes from your data classification, right? If you're doing FTI, PI, then the other part of risk is it in your flat network, you got it in the cloud. Two part of that risk is the software you're reviewing doesn't have encryption at rest or encryption in transit, but the bot still wants to use it, right? That would be a high risk, and the senior managers have to accept it. The third one is weird is I see a lot of people running out of support software, which I think is weird. So that's a base question. Is it still support? There's a lot of Microsoft stuff that's out of support. Now, a lot of times you could pay extra for the support, right? But is it in still support? What's my man's name at the bottom? He came off the mute. Anybody got any questions as I ramble? I just woke up from a nap. Anybody got any questions?
Oh, no, yeah, I think you're doing really good on that part.
All right, scroll
this
down.
is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it is. The two
Yeah,
is
this is a good one.
what artifacts am I getting from you? And we do this from Trello. Go back up, Chris. Go back up, Chris. Usually you're going to get the URL from the company website. Now, down one. Usually they have a security page. Me and Chris looked at Trello's privacy page. Two big companies, do they got in transit encryption and at rest and in transit? A lot of times too, and me and Chris looked at that. Are they selling your data? You'd be surprised how many companies sells your data. So that's a big question. CONUS is continental United States. Once again, I do a lot of federal stuff. Then for us, if you run a Rapid7 at the bottom or Nexus, you're looking up CVEs. I like to see CVEs that tells me the company had a bug and they fixed it. So I want to see what time frame they saw the bug, how quick they fix it. And two is one every year or one every couple of years. Now, if they got CVEs out the wazoo, right, that's another problem. But I like to see something fixed, and so that I know they have that security organization, right? You see bugs like we're doing. They giving them CVEs, they giving them risk. They're fixing them. They got poems. I want to see that in a company. Then at the bottom is, once again, I do a lot of IRS Pub 75. So those are the regulations we doing for the IRS, but which sits on top of NIST. And I think I got a couple of NIST segments. So when auditors come through, they go, okay, we're doing security and privacy impact CM4. We're doing a risk assessment. So those are the things the auditors like to check out, your risk assessment. So then the auditors I call it the fluff. So then they see that as reference at the bottom. Right, so this is more of a compliance check. So when auditors come in, once again, I used to work for the state of Indiana, doing Department of Revenue. IRS comes in every 3 years, and they want to make sure you're doing risk assessment. Because now everybody's getting hacked. So the first thing they want to see, if you're not doing a risk assessment, you large company, you can get sued for being negligent, right? If you get people's data hacked and you're not doing proper things to show that you're doing due care to their data. So anybody got any questions? I think Caesar and Chris asked me this, so I dropped them. This is kind of my template. If anybody wants to, Chris can share it, which like Chris works for me. Chris can share what anybody wants. Well, it's like I said, Booz Allen signed off on this 4 years ago, so I know it's good. Once again, this is a compliance check. This is not a super security check. And like I said, most large organizations, a friend of mine just hit me up. He worked for large organizations. And I showed her the video. He goes, I do this at work every day. So once again, I know big companies and large companies. Like I said, I used to do this when I was a consultant at the state. I reviewed every piece of software that came into the organization. And two, a lot of times is large companies and especially state companies, they do requests for proposals, RFPs and R5s. So when they get those things back from companies to try to bid software, I would give them this, or I would give them a security questionnaire. That's pretty common. So my questionnaire would fill into this. A lot of times, smaller companies really aren't equipped to do questionnaires, and this is for Caesar. I used to do I used to make money on Upworks doing security questionnaires for small companies because I didn't know how to answer the question in the format that auditors like. So you could get a lot of side work on that.
Okay.
Just getting comfortable with that. Like I said, because when small companies get security questionnaires, I work for a company, our security questionnaire was 100 questions. I'm like, dude, we're overwhelming small companies. My boss said something that really surprised me. He goes, that's the point. If they're not ready for big software, they're not ready for us. So he used to do that on purpose.
I mean, yeah, it does make sense a lot.
Yeah, it did. I thought it was a little elitist though, but my boss, we chill. I probably interview him. Cool guys. CISO for a large state. He said he owes me an interview. But anybody got any questions? I think Chris and Caesar asked me about vendor assessment. A couple people asked me about that. So
Yeah.
I just thought
That's
I
gonna
would.
be, I already found, I guess, I don't want to say my niche, but I've been concentrating a lot in CMMC and then third party. Those are the main two I
Yeah,
wanna deal with.
I was looking at a little third party more because I was thinking that's a good way to get your foot in the door. The only bad part about it, which is not bad, is I only see large companies doing it. We kind of would see. Well, I see smaller companies are starting to get in CC, but the vendor assessment, risk assessment, I usually see large companies doing it. I don't think I've ever seen a small company was doing it. I was working for a small company. They didn't want to do it. So it's a lot of work. So the two, especially
Oh yeah.
and I tell people just to get started, just do a light one of these. Your DBAs and your essays in the cloud, they can tell you what software you run. And so I said, let's just start from the top. And because theoretically, if you look at NIST and CMC, I think you're supposed to do a vendor/risk assessment annually. So
Yeah, I think this is like really good because it is different for your vendors. So
mhm.
your risk assessment is going to be a little
Oh
bit
yeah.
different.
Well,
So
this is really for we
yeah,
call it the flat network, where it's software that runs on people's laptop. Then we got protected stuff that's in the cloud in a specific DMZ or VPC. Then it's like the cool thing is somebody put that out. APIs, you still got to do this for even when you call it like we did for Trello. You should go through that like for Trello. All right, to kind of figure out what are they doing behind the scenes. Are they stealing your data? Like we said, Chris, are you giving them what was it, worldwide access to your data? Right. So, but
yeah, through Trello, their policy
uh,
that they have unlimited use of your data
yeah.
virtually for any purpose.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'd have
which
liked to
I'm sure
sign
was
it.
just some legalese, but
Yeah,
yeah, still.
I work with a ton of lawyers, so we call those DPAs, data processing agreements, and I put that in your vendor assessment. Like we did, we should at least touch on those things to make sure we're not giving a worldwide access to our data. Because I think you were surprised when I pointed that out, so it was kind of nice that some jumped out there. But long story short, I know y'all asked me this. This is kind of my template. So once and two is remember, this is a compliance check, which is not, you can be compliant and not secure. You can be secure and not compliant. This is the compliance check that, once again, that the auditors will come in, and that's really what they want to see from that
Uh,
perspective.
can I make a suggestions?
Yeah, always.
You can definitely something like that, do a little course.
I know it's in my course. If I
Yeah,
ever
PBO.
finish it, it's in my course. I got bigger assessment in there.
You can definitely do that. Probably you can probably kick that off maybe like in 30 minutes. You basically do a video, go over the instructions, what to do, whatever frameworks we need
Chris,
to
like
use.
this. It's in my procurement, but it's about 2 hours long. You got to pick it out my 2 hour procurement video.
Yeah,
It's in there. But nah, you
yeah,
right.
it's in there somewhere.
But nah, like I said,
Yeah,
you asked me that, and a couple other people asked me that. So I just wanted to kind of pull that template out. Like I said, I use that. Booz Allen signed off on it, so I know it's good. Um, like I said, it's a compliance check, not a security check. Once again, the big thing, classification of data. We reviewed it. Management signs off on it because we're going to put a risk in it, uh, low, medium, or high. If it's software supported, so once again, they want to check to make sure you're at least reviewing your software at a high level, so you're not negligent.
yeah, and just like Jeff said in the chat too, is that's a very good thing to mention there that it's compliance, not security.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there's a big difference between that. So Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward there.
And but the cool thing
Let
is,
me.
and a guy asked me this when I was at the state, it was split into two departments. He were our private cloud vendor, and I did a risk assessment. He asked me, "What about the back end?" I said, "I'm doing compliance for Department of Revenue. You're our private cloud vendor, so you need to be doing the security checks for the back end. I can't get to the back end. I don't have admin rights. I can't see if we call it the user of the software. I don't know if that has too many rights. I don't know if y'all got VPNs. I don't know if y'all got network segment. That's not on me. I'm compliant. You're backend people." And he came to me and said, "I'm glad you said that because they didn't understand the division of that." I was like, "Now, if you want to give me rights to the back end, I can do it, but you don't want to give me rights, right?" So two is you got to understand the separation of duties between compliance and security. But your job is compliance is make sure security's asking those questions. Security has those documentations for vulnerability scan and your Nexus scan, right? So they should give you OWASP scans, right? So that should be documentation from the security engineers on the back end, right? So that's split in two.
Yeah, and I did put that document in the chat here as well. And then if you can always reach out to me and I can get that out to you as well if you guys wanted a copy of it. Yeah. I mean, that's some of the different key portions of that. I was looking more and more into that certification that you guys had shared last week for third party.
Yeah.
It's 1,300
Yeah.
bucks.
Why you say it like that, Caesar? Why do you say it like that, man?
It's
Hey,
1,300. It's 1,300. How you
yeah,
doing,
you have a
Samuel?
point.
Hello, everyone.
What's up, son? But like I said, a couple, 4 or 5 people
How you
asked me for
doing?
that. Doing pretty good, so I just wanted to share it real quick. I know what the agenda was for today, but
Would that is what is it, a certification or certificate?
I thought it
For
was
third party
certificate.
one, that one's a certification.
Yeah, I thought it was a
Is it
certification.
is it worth a lot in a job's eyes?
I didn't see a lot of people asking for it on Indeed, but double check it. I usually do, but I, I think it's so
I
rare that
haven't
if you,
looked
I think if you, it's so rare that if you had it, I think it would jump you up above people.
for
Just,
supply chain.
hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 if you were specializing in just supply chain, then
yeah.
yes. Like if a company's hiring for, supply chain risk management or something like that, then
Third
yeah.
party. Yeah, I think that would jump you
Yeah.
up.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I'll go
Okay.
ahead and drop the link to that one too. I gotta pull it back up here.
But like I told
Let's see.
Caesar, I've seen it a couple times doing research. I just never dug into it and did to do, I guess, due diligence on the research. Like I said, it seemed cool, it seemed novel. There's a lot of third party jobs out there too. Now, if you're going to indeed put third party, that could be risk management. It seems quite a few jobs pop up.
Yeah,
I
so
just
I'm
I'm
gonna
sorry.
go
Go
ahead and
ahead, Chris.
oh, I was gonna share this right here. So this is what it is, and then I'll throw this in chat too. So it's a certification that's all about, so it's the CTPRP. So shared assessment certified third party risk professional is what that is.
Yeah,
Oh
there's the
yeah.
professional one. They have like I think they have like two or three. So
They
definitely
do.
make sure that because I even think they even have a certificate for it. I think it's called Partition, I think it is.
I think
But
so
double
too.
check. But they have like three.
True.
Yeah, I haven't really looked around at it too much, but it does seem like one of the only ones that are, for third party in particular. But yeah, like the 800 161, I think Caesar was already
Yeah,
digging through. There was
yeah.
another one from NIST too.
There's a couple out there.
Um,
Yep, 161. Yep. I've read
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
I've read that.
I've just been super concentrated on really I guess the CMMC train,
That's
and
hot.
and then the third party. Those are gonna be my main two. I need to get the security plus. I have to. I've been, I guess, a little intimidated, not to say the word scared, but I'm gonna have to do it regardless. And the main things I want to do, because I was talking to Chris about this, I can't get it because of the years, really, and experience. But dealing with Asaka, getting their certificates, not certifications, certificates for risk assessments and audits, because that's really what I want to concentrate. Everything that I'm trying to do is going to be risk assessment, and then obviously you need to audit that stuff. Those are
Yeah.
the main two things. And then when I'm able to get, because the years, I want to go into CISA,
Okay.
the Chris C, that's going to be for
Hmm.
the risk,
Yeah.
and maybe the SIM. So that's more management.
To be honest, you can, but if you get the CISP, it really qualifies for the other ones. For some
Oh,
reason,
for real?
CSP is like the gold standard. If you got CSP, I think they think you can do anything. That's just been my, we're just
Yeah.
But
looking out there.
you need
You're
the 5 years
Superman
experience
at
for that
that
one.
point.
Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah,
What did you say?
That
but
you
the
need
problem
five
is the
years
number of years
experience.
required. Though. You think required to have 5 years or 4 years experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
What did you say, Robert?
Right, that's what I was saying. I mean, you still can actually qualify. You can do it, pass the test, and they have a different title for it, which means that you're more.
Associate. Yeah,
Yep.
I wouldn't do it unless I could get the real one, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
my only issue, and not a huge issue, is once you get in there, now you got to start doing CPEs. You got to keep all that up to date. So I would do the Security Plus because there's no years on the Security Plus, is it?
No,
I
there's
No.
would do
not.
the
No.
Plus. Then when you get your years, go to the CISP. But you like Robert's right. I've known a couple guys that got the associate. It's just keeping those CPEs up to date is just brutal.
And
So
then I have another question, and this is more of a question. I don't know the experience of everybody else, but maybe PBO you can answer this. Chris might know where I'm gonna get this. Is this true that if I have, let's say, 1 or 2 years of experience, and I know somebody that has a CISA cert,
mhm.
would they be able to sponsor me and me get the CISA cert without waiting the 5 years, or I still
No,
need to wait the 5 years?
you got to wait the 5 years.
It doesn't, you can't go
There's no
around
way.
it. You can't
No,
go
no,
around
There's
it.
no way around it.
no.
No.
Everybody be doing
The
that, man. Stop trying to cut the system, Caesar, man. That's
Oh no,
you
not me, not
got.
me. If it was just, but so
I'm
it's
just
not
playing
so
with
it's
you.
not possible. That's not possible.
No.
No.
But that's the I gotta say this right. I think that's part of gatekeeping, right? They want you to be at a certain level. I think they trying to keep the membership down. They're trying to keep it, well, even though a lot of people get in the CISP now, but I think that's the way you keep the membership down and you keep it tight. And two, somebody's got to recommend you too. So a lot of times it's hard if you new to find somebody that's going to recommend you because they become linked with you. If you do something crazy, then they come under scope. So I was at DOD. A lot of people wouldn't recommend other people, which I thought was weird. So
Oh, okay. So whatever I do goes back to you.
yeah, because I recommended you. So that's kind of how that chain works. So if you do something, they're gonna start looking at me funny, man, right? So, but
So
that's kind of was when I was
This
at
is a sign,
DOD.
Professor.
so my question
This
is,
is a sign for him, so you
why
need
would,
to do it for him.
I would do it for
what's up,
Caesar.
man?
What's up, man? What's up, man?
But
Sorry,
why would somebody even say that?
So
That's a question. Why would somebody says, "Oh no, I can go right ahead and recommend you."
double check me.
Oh,
Yeah,
money.
yeah, but I double check me. But I know a lot of CISPs, and we talked. But like I said, I was at DOD 10 years ago. Maybe it's changed, but we talked about that at DOD. You had to have that 5 years, man. But two is that's one reason when you go if you look at the 8570 when you're trying to get a federal job, that's why it's in that category because they want you to have 5 years of experience. Because I think that's a level 3 cert. They got different levels. So for you to get that type of job for that type of cert for the 857 level 3, you got to have 5 years of experience for that. So that's how they link them up too.
Okay.
But double check me,
Yeah.
man. Like I said, my stuff's 10 years old. Go ahead. My stuff, I'm thinking 10
Oh,
years old.
you're good. You should be able to unmute there, Samuel.
Yeah, I'm saying you just
That looks
talking.
like you're talking. Oh, there you
Yeah, I was
go.
talking. Yeah, I said what some people
Oh.
do. They love their resume. I saw a video of a lady with DOD. They said they were caught lying. They lounge their resume so that you can get a number of years to go to sec. They find them out. They fire them. Let them.
Oh,
let
yeah.
them out. Because
Oh,
don't
yeah.
try it, man. It's not worth it.
No, it's you got to
Oh,
be
so
careful.
they fire her for lying, and
Oh
she.
no, they fired people.
They can-
So yeah, he said that very day too. A lady was fired. She's good. Said lady is good, but they don't know why she has to learn her resume. That's
Oh
what
yeah,
I
they don't play.
make
They don't play that.
hobby.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
play
and
that.
anybody, go ahead. Yeah,
No, like,
nobody
yeah.
can, or I'll just I'll just do my part. I'm sorry. So yeah, anybody can verify your certifications. That's what I was going to include there.
Oh
Anybody can
yeah,
just look up
yeah.
your
I
information.
Oh,
So
yeah,
But
I
the
know that. Like, I don't know why the hell would you even lie on that stuff when every certification
Oh,
has an
people do it.
ID.
You'll be surprised. People do it.
oh, but you'll be surprised people that don't check.
Yeah.
A lot of people
True.
don't check, so a lot of people roll that, man, because if you get on a big government contract and you get into a high clean with false, you can easily make 150, man.
Yeah, but for how long? Like when you get, that's going to be just straight
That-
embarrassing, getting
that is
kicked
true.
out,
For how
getting
long?
kicked out like you're a thief. I mean, in reality, you are a thief because you're just,
Like,
I
Yeah,
had to
man.
put my time, I had to put my patience, I had to put a whole bunch of headaches,
hmm
all that stuff to pass a test, and then you're just saying, yeah.
Man, a lot of people try to shortcut the process, man.
Because
So,
yeah.
but hey, man, sometimes you got to push out your chips in the middle of the table. So, but no, I agree with you
yeah, and
because you get blackballed. You could easily get blackballed.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, oh yeah, black ball,
Especially
yeah.
dealing with the Fed, you can easily because they got those security clearance. They can put
Mhm.
stuff on your security clearance, so when you try to get it, your name's gonna pop up. I've seen that happen to a couple people, so you gotta be careful with that. How
Yeah.
you gonna play that?
But you
yeah.
don't
And then
really know where you're gonna go, man.
did
Yeah,
anyone
go
want to
ahead.
introduce themselves or bring up another topic or anything like that? Let's see. I just want to give everyone an opportunity to bring other stuff up too.
Or you can put it in the chat and we can talk about it if you didn't want to actually
Yeah,
bring it to the
yeah,
floor.
that too.
Let's see, 161.
Let's see here.
Is it? I think somebody.
Yeah, I just posted a link to the the Zoom in the Zoom chat on accident.
But yeah, man. I went looking for it.
Hey guys, I put down a link there.
Mhm.
This link is called Forge. It's actually pretty good. It's hands-on. The only caveat to it is just because this company or this website has a contract with other businesses, and this is great if you want to work for one of those businesses. Like I saw here, let's say MasterCard. Let's say if you want to work for MasterCard, they have and these practical tests, they're actually hands-on and everything with labs and everything.
Mhm.
Is great if you want to work for them, because if you do good, they'll actually give it to the HR and your name will be within the company. So you can even get hired by them and stuff like that. And reality is more for knowledge unless you want to work for a specific company, because there's a lot of
Okay.
companies here. It's just knowledge. Can you put it in your resume? You can. Would it be valuable? Maybe not. It's only valuable for the company that you did it for. So
Did
you
we
can
look at
definitely.
this? We
There's
looked
one
at
thing
this.
though.
I've
Caesar.
done these before, so I
So
did a couple of them already. MasterCard,
Caesar.
KPMG.
Oh, you done that? Okay.
Yeah, so it's good
Because I
Caesar.
think
exposure.
If you are looking for a job for the PCI DSS, that massacre will be very relevant there. Are you with me?
okay. You
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
PCI?
Yeah,
Yeah.
PCI DSS, yeah. Because I want to do that. I want to do that too.
You
That
want
would
to do
very
you want to do
relevant.
banking? Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and so like I looked into it quite a bit as well for that. I'm actually going to pull it up here. But yeah, I mean, overall, it doesn't seem bad. So in particular, if you're actually trying to get a position with one of those companies, so on their actual page, which I got to put in chat here. So that's
It
the link
does
to
give you the
this.
hands-on. That's the intrigue part. It gives you the
Yeah,
hands-on.
you probably massacre right the first one
Well,
right there.
yeah, and so it seems more like an onboarding than anything else. But I mean, the cool thing about it is the fact that if you want to, like, if you see a job opening, especially for like MasterCard cybersecurity, like on Indeed or a job board, and then you want to
Mm-hmm.
get there, or you want to work for JP Morgan or any one of these other companies, it's going to get your name, on their desk, because these companies are paying the Forge to host this and to do this. So in particular for these companies, I think that's a great thing. So
Yep.
I don't think that just stacking these courses though, on a resume is going to be too beneficial though.
We looked at this before, though, right? Didn't we look at this a couple of times?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
we
we've
did.
mentioned it the
Okay.
last Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's been
I-
mentioned the last 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, I think for me though, I think on the practical side though, because part of the question is that what have you been doing? How have you been, upgrading your skills? Where you be doing all this hands-on practical lab work? That can come in. Because I know unique guy was saying that those practical handwork, they are lab, they're very, very relevant if they are in line with the type of job you're looking for, like that PCI DSS, and how to do with credit card, then you'll do it. It's very relevant there.
Yeah, but what I don't like about it is the fact that it's based on that company. So like
Oh,
one
yeah.
company might call it cybersecurity, but then another one, cybersecurity might be something completely different. So it's very narrow for that company per se, on the ones I've looked at, because I went
Yeah.
through maybe 20 of them earlier.
Yeah, I
So
agree with
it's
you on
still
that.
not bad. I mean, especially if you see a posting for one of those companies, because then also my understanding is if you complete that, they keep track of like how long it took you and what your scores on the testing were, and that goes to the recruiter's desk, to their email, like, hey, this person completed this course, for your thing, and this is their results kind of thing. So that's kind of where I see it kind of fitting in and really
Yeah.
getting you ahead with a particular company. But yeah, was there anything else you wanted to mention on that one, Caesar?
No, I probably wanted to maybe mention talking about level effect. I don't know if you want to do it.
Yeah, I can mention the level effect one here too.
Yeah.
So the one
uh,
that me and Caesar have been working on actually lately.
You got the link?
Let me see. Yeah, I have to sign out though.
I got it. I put in the link. I um I honestly sincerely recommend this to anybody, especially the new people. Even if you've been in the industry forever, because this gives you really, really, really hands-on. Like I'm talking about you're doing everything that the instructor is doing, period. On the IT, that's where I slack. So for me, it's a more complicated because my mind doesn't work like an engineer. It really doesn't. I always try to dumb stuff down. But the way that level effect does it does it in a very good way because I have the option to read the instructions and do it, or I can follow everything in an actual computer and do everything digging in the actual software of the system. So you really have hands-on. Like in my opinion, I was even telling Chris, in my opinion, this certificate should be worth more than anything out there because this actually gives you is a test. Like you need to take the final test is 175 plus every single module you have under the IT that we did Windows, we did Linux, and then we did what was the last one, Chris? Networking. Each of those modules have 25. So it's 25, 25. You're looking at 75 plus 175 questions, all about that. So when you leave that, you're gonna be prepared, and that's quote unquote
So
fundamentals.
yeah, so
Super
I
hands-on.
feel that yeah, so I think that that's a kind of narrowing the perspective on it. So what it is it's 3 different courses. So they have an IT fundamentals, a cybersecurity fundamentals, and then a compliance fundamentals course, all of which are pay what you can. So it could be $0, or I don't think they have a limit on how much you could do. That's what is most interesting about it is it's pay what you can, and it has actual interactive VMs. So it has hands-on labs that you can do throughout the course. I believe each one includes, I think it's about 40 hours worth of VM access, or I think it comes out to 20 hours of actual use. But you do get a limit.
There's a lot of labs. We were counting
So
it. Go right ahead, Chris.
yeah, so Jeff, in comparison to Hack the Box, I think that this has its own kind of realm in comparison to Hack the Box. So Hack the Box is really good for learning, like the red teaming side of it. This is more of like the very bare minimum. So these fundamental courses, you get a certificate for each one, and then you also get one for completing all 3. But like what you could see on their pages for it is some of it's pretty basic. But like these are really good things to know, especially if you're not very familiar on the IT side. So there's
Like
stuff like
myself.
not even in this. Yeah, like there's stuff like not even in the Sec Plus that's in here. And they go through on a video and then also step by step in text. File permissions in Windows. They also have a whole section on, they go over Windows and Linux and, some basic networking, group permissions, a wide variety of different things in the operating systems and networking just on this first one alone. And for being completely free or, pay what you can, I mean, it's pretty
phenomenal.
good quality. Yeah, and like me and Caesar are about halfway, 3/4 of the way through this first one already. And I think we probably have, I don't know, maybe 15 hours into it.
Yeah, I know.
15,
Actually,
20.
the IT actually finished it today, so I
Yeah.
got the badge. Um, it's I think it's good, especially for somebody like myself that really slacked in the IT portion. This teaches you a whole lot. I'm in like I can't wait until I hit the audit and the cybersecurity because that's something that I feel way
Yeah.
more comfortable with.
Yeah, and like
Yeah. I mean,
these
mhm.
are good because a lot of times when you're working with the from a compliance standpoint, you might be working with the essays or the DBA. So you kind of need some of those basic fundamentals so you can understand the questions that you're asking from a compliance standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, I've looked at the Hack the Box Academy before. I have an account with them, but I still think that it's a different way of learning on here. One of the main reasons I actually chose to go with Try to Hack Me is because the way that things were explained on Hack the Box didn't really fit with me personally. So, I mean, I think this is great to throw out there for some people, but then also like there's topics in here that I haven't seen in other courses. So, and then also you have, the free VM use on all of it. The way that they explain things is great. And like kind of like what PBO was just saying is that I really like how they outline this too. IT fundamentals, cybersecurity, and then compliance.
Yeah.
And that's what they consider as their,
Cybersecurity.
yeah, their cybersecurity
The
fundamentals
foundation.
badge
Yeah.
is all three of those.
Okay. Thank you guys for sharing this.
Yeah.
Looking to this.
So you might be interested
Yeah,
in that,
and
Samuel. Honestly, you might get a
Oh,
lot of
definitely,
benefits out of that.
definitely, yeah. The technical part, I need to strengthen myself in the technical part. I'm weak in that area too.
Zero Trust is hot now. I did a couple videos on Zero Trust, so
oh yeah, a few of them.
yeah. I want to do another one on AWS. I just haven't got back over there yet.
In regards to Zero Trust, I believe NIST actually just published something, an
They
update
did.
or a report on. Oh,
They
okay,
did.
yeah, I was
did.
just looking at it the other day.
That's what made me think
Um,
of it. I saw it.
Yeah, and then I wanted to pull this up here too. So Jeff mentioned the hack the box part. I don't have anything against hack the box. Really, really good. A lot of stuff completely free too, just like with Try to Hack Me. So I mean, it's definitely worth mentioning as well. You could correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, but it does look like the majority of this is with the red teaming side of things, and then probably the blue teaming side too.
A lot of
So
red in there.
It just sucks. So there's not a lot of and obviously I know the word is broad, but it sucks that there's not a lot of GRC type of material out there. Everything is just
PBO.
the offensive or
Technical.
defensive.
But GRC, it's not going to call it new. And two, it's only mature companies do GRC. So so you're not going to see that as much as that. And to be honest, I don't see a lot of red teaming stuff unless I work for big companies. DOD, we had to do a penetration test every 3 years on site, and we did one locally, but we didn't have that talent on staff. We outsourced that. So I always tell people, red team, you got to be careful. It's a nice skill set. I'm gonna let Jeff chime in on that because I think he does a little more red teaming stuff than me. I worked at big companies. We didn't have that talent on staff. We always outsourced it. And two, NIST says you got to do I think a penetration test every 3 years where you hire an outside vendor to get that. So I don't see that talent a lot from strictly red teaming. Where a lot of times I will see GRC on staff before I see red team. So
Yeah, I just dropped that in the chat there too. Yeah, so also Jeff mentions the GRC Academy.io. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've mentioned him before. Yeah, I took their CMMC course. I really, really liked it.
Wasn't that the one for
Okay, so
250? Was that
Yeah,
250?
yeah, that's the
250.
Yeah, that's all. I keep thinking
yeah.
I'm gonna take that one, but
It's not it it's not cheap, but I mean it what it does is it saves you the 6 weeks of studying for it. That's what it really does. It condenses everything down. So what you're really doing is paying for your time to
I was
save your
gonna
time.
say if anyone on here's a veteran that is free, I took it a while
okay.
back. Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, there's a lot of stuff for veterans, so she's correct.
Yeah, and so then Jeff mentioned that intro Linux fundamentals. Yeah, I was kind of I'm not sure which one I would recommend on Hack the Box, but I kind of wanted to look at one of them. So like here's the intro for the Academy learning process. But yeah, so I was just kind of curious if you guys had any recommendations on where to start, maybe intro to networking, just so that way I could kind of just show, what they have available. But, let's see. But yeah, that's perfect. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the level effect so far. And I know that they get passed around in the VetSec thing too. They have a VetSec scholarship here, so it might be worth looking into. I like the fact of what they're doing here, though.
I think
Let's
VetSec
see.
kind of shut down.
Which one? VetSec?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I think I read something about it. I could be wrong though. Like they ran out of funding or something. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, yeah, you're
It's just
fine.
something to look into.
Yeah, I'm actually pulling up their website real quick just to double check. It's you might be right because at least their latest news page isn't loading. I'm not sure. We'll see. But still, a level effect there. Yeah, and then I have a couple other things. If anybody else has anything else to add or mention, you can go ahead and mention it real quick before I mention these other ones. I dropped this in the chat. This is Monday if anybody wants to get up at 3 o'clock Central, 3 a.m. Central.
Oh man, no, I can't do that, man.
Is that the one we went to that one day, Chris? Is that the one?
Yes, and this time
I-
they're doing the safeguarding privacy.
Yeah, I
Do they have the video? Chris, did they bring out the video?
No.
If you have, you can forward me the link, please. But if I stay that
No,
that
they
link,
don't.
I hope they're gonna be messed up.
Yeah, they don't publish the link or anything else. You have to register in order to get the recording.
You going,
Okay,
Chris?
okay, I can do that then. I can next time.
I do have another one. I found in these, I've basically find them in LinkedIn. People get I see people get certificate or certificates. So I try to always search. There's another website. It's called migrate.learning.com. And there's a lot of free stuff in there. GRC, IT, and all that stuff that programs for free. I haven't played a lot with it. I just wanted to share that so people have that. This is another way.
I've never even seen that, I don't think. I'd have to pull it up. Yeah, and then another one was mentioned, another really good one. So the Cyber AB, yeah, that's actually an important thing to mention. So the cyberab.org for
CMMC.
the official accredited body for CMMC. And so they have a marketplace here that you can go through and search. So licensed training provider. So you can actually select licensed training provider and it will give you a list of all of the places that are certified or accredited to actually teach you for the training in order to come here and get accredited. So now for CMMC, there is nothing that says that you actually have to be accredited in order to work with CMMC unless you're actually going to be doing the assessment itself, which is all explained in the ecosystem rules here. Yeah, so if you're going to be submitting it to SPARS, then you'd have to.
Hey, let me chime in on that. I used to make side money because 3PLs, third-party assessors, charge about $300 for junior people. So I used to tell people, I'm gonna charge you $65 because I like you, right? So I would do the pre-assessment and get them ready for the assessment because you don't want to go in assessment blind. So a lot of people pay for people to help them with pre-assessments. So make sure that policies and procedures, we talked about incident response, all that standard paperwork could be for a small 5,000 pages. So
Yeah, and that's a really good point to make. Yeah, because that's the same thing talking to other people who are in CMMC is the fact that a lot of these companies are going to hire a consultant to prepare them for the actual C3 PAO.
Yeah.
So,
and I would tell people, I'm getting you ready. You still gonna have findings. You're not gonna flip out. You're gonna have poems, right? The thing is, you got to show a program. They'll let you pass, but you got to show them you have a program and you're doing the right things. You're not gonna get 100% on a. So, but once again, you just preparing them with the paperwork, the checks, and two is each company kind of do it a little differently, but because when I worked at State as a consultant, once again, I worked for the Department of Revenue. The IRS came and gave them audit 3 years. So my job internally was to do those audits, to get the state agency ready. So when Booz Allen comes in, right, we get a good report. Everybody gets a group hug. The crazy thing is the report went to the governor. So just a way to get in the game, doing those pre-audits.
yeah, that's a good point to make there. Yeah, the third parties and everything else. Yeah, and I mean, so what? December or January is when CMMC is expected, and then they're doing a 7-year rollout, which is what a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so like I follow Summit 7. They have really great content around CMMC, and so they put out updates all the time.
Is that Discord you got me in, or is that somebody else? They're pretty good in that Discord you sent me. Who?
Oh yeah,
Cool.
yeah, that Discord is really, really good.
They in there chat.
Oh yeah, Summit. Yeah, I guarantee you, Summit 7 is in there too.
Yeah, so they bring up some interesting topics. I was like, okay, what would I do? So yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great place to ask questions and everything around CMMC. So they all specialize around that field. And if anybody else wants invited to that Discord, there's a Discord just for CMMC primarily. And I mean, there's a couple thousand people in there.
Oh,
so it's a really great learning.
And they're active. They're active in there too. Every time I go in there, it's like, oh, you got 100 messages you missed. So, and for me, even though I've been in this game, how people still review certain things or certain things is in a gray area. They talk about how they would do it compared to that. And sometimes they say, well, let's send it out to CMC and get a ruling on this because people disagree. So I guess you can send it to them for a ruling. But no,
that too.
It's a great Discord. I really like it. Like I said, I've been there hanging out.
Chris, can you put the Discord link in there?
So I don't think I could drop it on here, but I can go ahead. Like if anybody wants to be added to it, then they can message me on Discord or otherwise.
Yes, please.
Let me see.
You see that link in the chat with the CMC educator? I don't want to mess her name up. I don't want to mess her. As a teacher, I suck at names. What is it?
I'm still working on it. Yeah, I'm still working on it.
I've heard it pronounced.
I just try to print. I just try to sound it out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, is it me?
Yeah, how you say it?
Chidi. 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 It's longer than that, trust me.
Chidi. It's Chidi.
Yeah, Chidi.
Chidi. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, you guys were saying something.
Yeah, jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, please add me to the Discord, man. I already sent you a chat on Discord.
Yeah, after the meeting, I'll follow up with everyone.
Yeah, to the CMC Discord.
Yeah, what's up, Chidi?
Did you have a question?
No, I didn't have a question. I thought you guys were calling my name. So.
No, I saw you put the educator in there. I know Chris brought up the educator link you brought up that you put in there. You said lady and educator in there.
Oh, that wasn't me.
That wasn't you?
Mm-mm.
No, that was somebody else. I'm sorry.
That was Suyukti.
I'm struggling with that one too. So you think
That's all
my
right.
bad. I'm old. I need glasses. You gotta work with PBO. He getting old, man. I'll be 57 this year, man. It's a hard
Oh, wow.
57. I'm getting
Wow.
up there. So yeah, so I
Right.
didn't. So yeah, she had the educator in there, Suyuti. Now I'm messing it up now, man. I'm putting accents on stuff that should have accents on there. As I said, kids tell me
All
don't
right.
disrespect. Don't disrespect. That's what the kids always tell me.
Right. Yeah, and I think people understand. So, yeah, one of the last things that I put in the chat here, so that's the OCEG again. I'll be attending this one too. Like I said, I'm just a free member on here and I like to take advantage of their webinars. I think that they're pretty good. And then the
Is
NIST.
their membership free?
So yes, you can sign up as a free member and then you get access to some free materials and you can attend a lot of their webinars no cost. So that's
they
what
do
I
got
enjoy.
a paid version though, right? They do got a paid version.
Yes, so they do have a paid version as well. I personally don't care for it because it basically, if you don't pay their $500 or $600 a year, then you lose everything. They'll revoke all of your licenses, all of your training, and then
Yeah.
also all the documents that you receive are all marked with your information too to make sure that nothing gets sent out or otherwise.
I need a favor, Chris.
Damn.
That
Yeah.
triggered me. I'm sorry. I'm going off topic.
Are their
Oh, you're good.
certifications valid, like in the job market?
I
So
put it
I
in there.
think-
A lot of them didn't come up. Go ahead, Chris. I didn't see a lot of jobs come up for it.
Oh yeah, so that's what I was just going to add is so I've looked them up as well. I've not seen a single thing for OCEG on any job.
I think I saw
or
one, but
anything.
go ahead. I think I saw one. It wasn't a lot.
Well, I don't
saw
think it's
one too.
necessarily. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily because of the quality of education, but there's a couple problems. So the quality of education and the information that they have, I feel is very valid. I like their webinars. I like the content that they do have, even on the free edition. However, all of their certifications are all 100% open book, which is a problem. So
why is that a problem?
Well, it's a problem because it would be a problem because then you're not actually, it's a certification, but doing it open book, anybody can pass it.
No.
No, Chris, that is not correct.
That's not correct. Me and Samuel, because I used to teach Chris, when we do open book as a setup, because we only going to give you an hour.
Exam. Open book is the most difficult exam to take, Chris.
Yeah, because Chris, that's the setup. Because when we did open book,
no, don't believe that, man.
Yeah,
I teach, man. If I teach you open book, you
it's a setup. It's a setup, Chris. They don't give you enough
They
time
don't-
to look through the book. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I understand. Yeah, but the problem that I have here, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that it's a good thing. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that, yeah, I'm not vouching for it. I didn't apply. I did not get the membership on purpose. Yeah.
You know you weren't gonna get the membership. Don't take that wrong. You don't pay for a lot of stuff, Chris. I'm just throwing that out, man. You kind of tight, player. You kind of tight with the monies, man. I don't. Which ain't bad,
listen
man.
to these guys. The CEO Scott sent me an email. Listen, guys, he sent me an email over the weekend to develop a course for them. So
That's cool.
they give me a survey to do.
Okay.
Part of the problem I tell is, here the thing I see that is wrong. They are not doing a good job marketing their certification. They are not doing it.
So
Facts.
That's our number one problem.
well,
That their certification is not in the hand of employers. Business don't even know about it. That's what I told them. I said, look, that's the number one problem. Not until you are able to fix that it becomes a part of what is recognized in the industry, you are going to be lacking behind.
so I don't.
About it, met you guys.
Well, so I think the main issue is, so I dug really deep into OCEG because I almost went for it. And the main reason why I didn't is because they're open book tests, which I don't like. Almost anybody could actually pass these. I've talked to a few people who have actually passed these exams, and I haven't met anybody who said that they do it again.
But do they give you timers or?
So each exam is a little bit different, but you could go through and you could do the test as much as you want. So like, I think you have to wait 24 hours to try again. Like, there's not like a huge limit. And so that's what I'm saying is that that's one big reason why I don't feel it holds any weight, is because there's that issue. But then the other issue, which took me longer to figure out with OCEG, is the fact that the reason that they have so many certifications here, is because the way that they have their framework, basically, because they basically made their own framework, their own standards for it, and their ideal goal and the way that they position a lot of their material is that you need to get everybody certified in your organization. Like, this is how it's supposed to work. And unless everybody follows through with their policies and their standards, then it doesn't really work very well. So if you're the only person in the organization who has their GRCP, that's not really going to apply too well to a lot of their material. At least I still think that there's great information. I just don't think it's worth the annual fee. That's, twice, 2-3 times more expensive than other associations that actually hold weight.
That is an issue too. The annual fee is an issue. It's just too high. Honestly, the 500 is just too much, man.
The founder what?
The $500 is just too much.
Oh, it's too much. Yeah.
It's too much. Yeah, it's too high.
Yeah, and I think that they would have to restructure this differently for it to really mean something. Like, I understand the point of doing an open book, but like,
see, they trying to be in the old days in DOD. They used to have what was it, CMM, right, which would tell you the level of your software and your level of maturity of your organization. And everybody in the government was doing it. So I think they're trying to position themselves like that. But they got, like Sammy said, they got Gartner to buy into that. And Gartner was selling that stuff to all the big companies. So I remember, now nobody really talks about that much. But in the 2000s, that was huge. So you had to build the factory before you created the software type thing. So I think they're trying to do that with compliance, right? This is the compliance framework. You got to build this compliance framework so you can do a compliance correctly. And everybody's like, no. So.
Which one is this? Standard Vision? This is a new one.
I see it here. I got a question, because you guys were teaching. Why do you guys say that open book is harder?
Because we put a time limit on it. When we did it at Computer, so what we did is, that was the setup. If you try to read through it to find these questions, you're never going to get done.
You're never going to get done.
So when you do open book, we're going to cramp so much information that you won't be able to look it up. So if you don't do open book, right, yeah, if you don't do open book, we know you can only memorize so much. People do open book, you got everything. So you never go, where we taught at, you never going to, an hour and a half, never going to be close enough. If you start looking up 2 or 3, you never going to get done.
Not only that, when I do that, you're going to have a question coming for 2 or 3 chapters. One question tied together, tie 2 or 3 chapters together. You're going to be flipping through. Before you finish, time is gone. You can never win. You cannot win. I tell you, don't ask for it, because you will regret it.
Yeah,
because
that's why.
Number 2, human psychology says that, well, because it's open book, your mind tends to say, you know what, I will look for the answer when I get there.
So you don't study as much, give or take.
You will not get the answer when you get it, because you are not on that time constraint.
That makes sense.
2 or 3 chapters linked together in one question. You're going to be flipping pages. You're going to be looking and looking and looking. Before you know it, time is gone.
It's a setup, man.
That makes a lot of sense.
Then, like you said, is most people tend to study less because they think they're going to flip through it and be able to find it. You ain't going to never make it, man. It's a setup. I used to tell my students that. It's a setup.
Well, no, I understand. Yeah, and I mean, still, regardless, like I said, I've attended numerous webinars and so forth, but I would never go for any of their certifications because, just they're nowhere. I haven't seen any positions for it. You guys say you've seen one, and then also, and then also after I dug into it more and realized the fact that what they're really trying to do is get entire organizations to comply to their thing. I realized it just didn't really work. Even with that said, they do still have great free resources. Like that part is the only thing I recommend from there.
Chris, there's another thing again you need to understand though. With open book, there's another thing they're trying to teach, okay? Because on the job, you have to be able to do research, because how do you get it? You don't know where it is. You have to look for it. That is one thing that you learn from open book exam, is to be able to search through the chapters and look for what you're looking for. So they want to understand that. That is one thing that comes out of, or the benefit of having open book, is to know how to do research, how to get information.
I understand. I understand that part. The problem that I have with the open book is that doing a certification that qualifies you for GRC or privacy, I feel is a little bit overdone. Like if they did, like I agree. Doing the open book and being able to prove that, oh, you have the ability to find this information is great. But I don't see doing an entire exam that way.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah, I
problem I
agree with
have.
you.
Like if you did it like, oh, for this part or that part to be able to test to
Mhm.
make sure that they can, I think
Mhm.
that's great. But an entire certification,
It's too much.
I think that's too easy. Yeah.
I did find the answer here. It basically says that SAM is limited to 2 hours, so it's 120 minutes to answer 100 questions correctly.
Never
You need to
mind.
That is too much
answer,
time. That is too much.
yeah, 70 questions to pass. Exams are open book, which means that, and this is kind of weird, but just the way that they phrase this, which this means that you may use Google and other resources while taking an
Yeah, that's they try
exam.
to teach that research part, but that is too much.
And you can take it up to 6 times a year. Only
Oh,
six
wow.
times.
Okay, 6.
No additional fees to take the exam. So every single time you take it in 6 years, 6 for free.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the moral of the story there is just the fact that, their exams aren't really requested anywhere. The material is still, valid, I think, to an extent. Like I still like the webinars and so forth. And like the webinars, at least the ones I've attended, they haven't actually done. They partner with other people to do it. So like I'll pull this up right here. And so like this one is with RiskCon Connect.
Oh.
Yeah, it's spelled all weird, but yeah, so they
Yeah, I
have
see.
other people come in. Yeah, they have other people come in to do the webinars, and it's actually really good because I've probably attended at least 7 or 8 of them so far, and the presentation's really, really good. And then at the end, they go ahead and throw in their, sales or sales pitch kind of stuff, but it's very, very minimal. That's why I recommend them still.
That's cool.
Okay,
So-
that's good. Thank you.
So I did a little research on it.
ED, WPS, which one is that? Okay.
Any more
Yeah,
questions
so-
on this certification?
Standard Vision.
Just-
Go ahead.
just
Explain this, please. Which one is this?
Go with the big dogs.
Yeah.
So I'll start with the big dogs on certification.
Yeah, so I went ahead and dropped this already in the chat. So I came across this article. So mastering the NIST CSF 2.0 framework. So this is a pretty good, quick overview for the new NIST updates. So I wanted to share this with everyone as well, just because of how quick and rapid that they go through it all. So the different changes, some of the different stuff that people have sent for feedback. There's a bunch of different information that's in here.
It gave me another link, Chris. When the link that you put, it took me somewhere else.
Standard Fusion.
Cross-site
Yes.
scripting. Cross-site scripting attack.
I guess so.
I don't know, man. PBO tired, man. I had a long day, man. Cross-site scripting attack, man.
Are you long day, man?
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I got your address now, Caesar. Yeah, it works for me. Yeah, the link I dropped works for me. But
it just basically says CSF 2.0 framework update, all in a black.
Okay, this is CMC. Okay, CMS.
yeah, and then there should be an article below that.
Yeah, I think that you got this growing on me, Chris, a little bit. You got the CSF growing on me a little bit.
It looks really, really good. So,
Not my 800
but I
guy.
wanted to.
I don't like
Not
to
for
deviate.
long.
I don't like to deviate. Go ahead,
so-
Chris.
Well, so there's this part here. So I wanted to drop that for everyone. That's a pretty good overview. And then also something else that NIST recently put out. So on March 6th, they went ahead and dropped this. I think this is a really good read too. So staging cybersecurity risk for enterprise risk management and governance oversight. So I think this goes really well. I don't think that they actually purposely did this to coincide with the CSF, but I mean, I was skimming through this one and it looks pretty good. It's pretty promising, actually. Just another thing that PBO can go ahead and stream.
I was gonna leave that one to you, man. You need to get your
Oh,
channel
come
going.
on.
I drop in on your channel as a special guest now. I might do it actually.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it here in 20 minutes at 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I actually wanted to do the White House money they giving in. They gave all the money to NIST, so I was gonna laugh at people.
Oh, I see.
NIST 800 got all the money for new.
Are you going live at 8?
No, I was thinking about going live at 9, but I'm running out of gas. I'm running out of gas.
Oh, come on, PBO. We can all move over to yours. I think it lines out perfectly.
I just went yesterday, man. So I need to start working on it.
You got to catch up. Let me drop the link to the NIST page here. So, yeah, so this, I mean, it's 47 pages, so it's pretty straight. It's pretty
How many?
pretty simple. It's only
This is
47.
this is slacking, man. I'm gonna have to write
I
them
know,
personally.
I know
That's-
they are. But hey, the date, 2022.
Yeah, we're looking at some stuff from 2009. A couple things. So, yeah, they doing a big the risk. Once again, I just see large companies doing it, but I think it's cool to go through. Because they're talking about risk registers or anything. Somebody else chime in. I know there's some other people in the business. I'm just saying what I've seen. I don't see a lot of small companies talking about enterprise risk.
Somebody-
They're barely doing what I showed y'all with the little template. Go ahead, Caesar.
Nah, somebody says send a message here. This is coming up on May 1st all the way to the 4th, and the website is O'Reilly. He put a link
Okay.
Yeah,
on the
that was
on the
me.
message.
Yeah, Rhonda.
Mhm.
Cybersecurity risk management with a 2.0. Okay.
Oh yeah, that looks good too. Yeah.
Okay. I'm a big O'Reilly
Yeah,
fan.
so that's this one here. You are?
Yeah, I'm old. They sold books, man. That's before your time. Most of this stuff was you got books that come to your house, man. That's how I
Yeah,
am.
you're referring to
Go ahead,
yeah,
Chris.
you're talking about like one of these, right?
Yeah,
One of these Kindles.
Here, let me
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, a book.
Where my camera at? Look
Yeah,
behind me.
they
That's
actually have a lot of stuff in there.
That's actually a bookshelf, Chris, right behind me. That's a bookshelf. But that's how old I am. I had real books. But
Hey, I got a couple real books.
but you gotta remember, I'm pre-Google. You actually have to look up an IBM mainframe. You actually have to look in the mainframe manual. There was no books to even order.
You're
Yeah,
Yahoo,
see, I can
huh?
see you like pulling out one of those 4-inch binders right now.
I got some for
That's
real.
what I imagine.
That was
Yeah.
real life for me, man. Go ahead.
He has the Jello pages.
Facts. I did. I actually got some in my closet. It's funny you mentioned that.
As a
So-
Yeah, I'm gonna
TV
drop
stand.
this.
That's like a TV stand.
Yeah, that's how. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. But nah,
We used to
Yeah,
get one every year, and the husband got upset when we didn't get them anymore.
Oh yeah, that's me. You gotta have your yellow pages at your house, man. I love the yellow pages. But I'm going to ask somebody. She might know. I used to get a Sears catalog where you have to pick out your Christmas toys and circle them, man. I used to love getting that Sears catalog. But let's get back on track, Chris. Let's get back on. I love that Sears catalog, man. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, I mean,
It's missing
I
out
remember when I
today.
was. Yeah, I remember the good old days when you actually had to go to Sears to get your appliances.
Oh man.
Now
Oh,
I just go on Amazon.
Yeah,
Nah,
Sears
but-
is not even a thing. I think they're bankrupt.
They are. But before that, it should be something called service merchandise. It should come down on conveyor belt in the warehouse and we drop down. That's all. I'm pre Sears. I just got so.
Yeah, I think there's also Kmart. I don't think there's
Oh,
many of those, if
Kmart.
any.
Oh, not
They
at
are. Somebody bought Kmart. They went out of business together.
It doesn't surprise me.
Kmart.
Yeah, they tried to join fortunes.
Toys R Us.
Nah, I wasn't Toys R Us, but yeah, I love them. They out of business, man. Amazon took everybody out of business.
Yeah, man. Burdines. I don't know if
Pretty
you remember
much.
that. Burdines. That's basically the new Macy's.
Yep.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that, by the way. I think this looks pretty promising. So that's May 1st and 2nd.
I might check that out.
Yeah.
I'll be
that looks
asking
pretty
too
good.
many
I
questions
haven't.
on there. I got to be careful, man. I be quizzing people on there. I be like,
Right.
I'll be attacking people.
Yeah, I was gonna go ahead and have ChatGPT here, give a rundown. But yeah, I was skimming through this document a little bit. I thought it was kind of interesting for the enterprise portion of it and the governance oversight.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if
So
I
we'll
can
see
get
what it has to say.
I'm trying to see if I can get an account to Archer and do some videos on Archer because that's the biggest GRC tool used by the big dogs. So
That's one of the biggest issues I have is that the automation tools that are out there, they don't provide like training for them, like
they do.
free, at least.
It's not free. It's not free.
Yeah.
No, it's not free.
You gotta have the government money.
Oh yeah, I went to a couple and it was like crazy amount of money. We got a discount because we sent 50 people, but because that's the cool thing when you work at the state. We were talking about working at the state. Each agency sent a person and they could just divide that money up. And two is the state bought a Archer contract, so part of that you get free training dollars when you buy it. But Yeah, I'm trying to see if I
Archer
can
has
get
some
a.
of them, has some free training.
Yeah, so I'm trying to ping them and see if I can get an account or get some free training and see if I can promote them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because all the big
For your
dogs
course,
use
right?
Archer. For my course, man. For the big dogs. So Archer, that's the one I use, and you see that a lot. If you go on Indeed and put Archer, a lot of big dogs
A
use
lot of,
Archer.
yeah. A lot of
So,
job, yeah.
the two, there's a development piece where you can change the screens and like you talked about, how do you want to store your poems and link them to your risk register, all of that. You can kind of customize it for your organization. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, so I wanted to share that part there. Yeah, and doing something on Archer, I think would be really, really good.
Any way to get training for Archer?
Yeah, is there any other way that you know of, PBO? I mean, it's pretty restricted. That's
no, I'm
That's a
trying to
problem.
think. I'm trying to think if I knew.
Yeah,
if
somebody
I knew
want to live
anybody.
Archer has some training. Go to their website and register. They have some training. Not all, but they have some.
Is it free or is it all paid?
Free, no, it's
Also-
free, some free training.
Okay, I need to go out
You
there
have
and
to
look.
look. They have a catalog of
They got a
different
lot
area.
of classes, yeah.
A lot
seven
of class,
sets.
yeah. You have to go
They
through.
got-
There are some free
yeah.
ones.
I'm trying.
I know somebody there, Bob. Bob is asking here. Bob,
Yeah.
go to their
Plus-
website and sign up for it.
I got a friend that worked for Splunk. I was gonna try to get some free training dollars from him. I don't think I know anybody at Archer. I was trying to think. I need to
yeah,
look through
so
my
like
network.
I'm looking at their page right now and I don't see any. Oh, okay, so Archer Academy. Let's see.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this up on the screen.
I was gonna
Let's
say,
figure
share it,
this
Chris.
out.
Yep.
I was gonna say, why are you
Yeah, I think
chopping
this-
it? Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I think this is it here.
Yeah,
Can you throw the link down, Chris, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's go ahead and dig into this part because I haven't really looked into it. So on the actual main web page, which it won't let me go back to now, they have this in their footer for Archer Academy. So certification program, course catalog, student resources, on-demand subscription. Oh, self-paced courses, 1 year. So on-demand subscription. Okay. Okay, so that's like FAQ. Well, this is Archer Community, though.
Yes, the
Yeah.
free.
Go to the website itself.
So training portal login.
And you need training to
Training
log in.
portal.
I need training to log in.
So
Well,
this is like the
Google
FAQs for it, is what it really is.
What I did, I just Google free Archer training. That's what I did. Your Google free. And then it took me to their website.
So
You
let me
sign up
pull
for
up their
it.
main page again. Because this is it, right, Archer?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
it. I should
All
go.
right, so what I
Udemy.
did,
Udemy. Go ahead, Chris. My bad.
yeah, I went down here to the bottom. So Archer Academy is the
Yeah.
first thing that caught my eye because they have nothing in their home navigation, at least. If you guys find something else, definitely drop it. And then that takes me here, which this appears to be like an FAQs for it.
What's the
Um,
certification program at the top? Maybe that's the official.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. So Archer certification exams, preparation tips, where to find exams.
No, I was hoping it's going on.
Yeah, so you have to log into your Archer Cloud portal. So maybe you have to register first, because this is
You
just
have to.
FAQ.
You have to register for yeah.
They probably make you
Yeah.
buy it. Hell, to even get there. Who knows?
Well, that's the problem is the fact that I can't find anything as far as the cost go.
That's by design. You gotta ask. You can't afford it. That's right. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Typically. Well, and like you said, I'm cheap.
I didn't call you cheap.
And
I called
I-
you frugal, man. I called you frugal, man. You my guy.
Oh, no,
man.
no,
You
no,
know-
I am cheap.
You my guy. You
I use
frugal.
everything. Let's
It's on
see.
Udemy. I usually hoard Udemy classes. So let me see.
Oh my. Okay,
I
so
bought a new class for. Oh, Sammy was the one who told me to buy that class.
Which one was that?
Samuel, what was the name of the class you told me to buy? I bought it.
Oh,
Udemy?
the unique guy?
No, none of the no, I haven't, no, not that one. I haven't paid the 500. On the Udemy, the Udemy one.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that program. Okay.
So
the
So PBO, this is why you need to come out with your course because there's people out there paying $500 for a course.
Oh, hey Samuel, can you go right ahead and explain the Unix guy? Basically the difference between Dr. Gerald's GSR and Unix guy.
Just a minute here. Chris, go ahead and Google free short training. Okay.
Do you have a
Then
link?
no, Google it will take you to okay. Let me put a link. Let me put a
Yeah,
link
if you have
there.
the link, then I'll go ahead and pull it up,
Okay,
but
yeah, let
I
me
didn't
do
want
that.
to just actively search for it.
Yeah, okay, hold on, let me do that. Caesar,
Yeah,
hold on,
Robert, that
let me
would be
finish
more
that.
hands-on.
Oh, Caesar.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Samuel get the Unix guys course
Okay,
GRC?
Did
Did he
you
get
get the
it?
no, Samuel did, not me.
Oh, he.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
But no, but I haven't done it. It's just $500.
I know.
Chris,
I
the link
saw
is
that
there.
like
Look at
a
the link
month
there.
ago when it came out. Oh my God, it's too
Look at the
expensive.
link there, okay? Then you give you a catalog of all the training they have.
But I've been reading a lot of it. I mean, I tell Chris all the time. I've been reading about it, and even in you go to YouTube, he has excellent reviews.
Hmm.
Was that the Linux guy for GRC?
That's a Unix guy.
Unix.
That's somebody
Yeah.
else completely Unix guy.
Unix
Yeah,
guy.
if somebody wants to drop the link in chat so PVO can take a look at it.
I can do
Okay.
that if you
Yeah,
want.
so
Do that for me,
yeah,
Steve.
and I don't think Samuel took Ozier's courses for the Cybersecurity 101. Let me see here. Yeah, I was
You
trying
see
to
the
find
link?
it.
You see the link for Asha? See the link there?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up.
Oh, yeah, I follow this guy. He's pretty good, yeah. Because he does a lot of cybersecurity from a Unix perspective. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, so like my main issues is the fact that he's
That's
let
his
me
website right
pull
there.
that up. Yeah, I want
That's
to
the
pull it up.
website.
Right, Robert.
So let me pull that up here.
Yeah, he seems to come from a more technical view. So yeah, I've looked at quite a few of his videos.
Yeah, and so like I have a couple different issues with it. Yeah, so this is
Uh-oh.
like his main thing right here. Yeah, so
Uh-oh.
like a couple of my problems with it is so we'll pull up the course here in a second, but like his actual mentorship, he's charging 347 US
Oh.
dollars for, which is
45
outrageous.
minutes? For 45 minutes?
45 minutes for $347.
I'm about to raise my prices now. Just
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the big
Damn.
things. And then also his inconsistency. So like I've told Caesar is the fact we've talked about this. So we're starting to yeah, it's kind of like some of the other stuff that we mentioned is that we keep repeating things in different meetings. So I think maybe taking clips of these things and then putting them on the YouTube channel or something might be useful. Because like we've covered Unix Guy before. We've gone over a couple other ones. But yeah, so $347 for 45 minutes with him, and then $500 for his course. And when I started trying to break into things, I did come across him, but I stopped primarily because he's just inconsistent. Most of his content is inconsistency. He'll go a couple months without posting anything.
Oh, I didn't even know.
And then, yeah, so that was one of my main issues, and that's how I came across the SE community is because it's every single day.
Yeah,
and then, yeah, and so then on his course here, I like the layout for it. The problem I have is the price. He doesn't have a PhD, and he's charging the same as Gerald's Cybersecurity 101. And for the content that you get out of here,
how much now?
So Unix Guy isn't his course $500? Yeah, for $497.
Oh no, okay, that's not what I pay. I paid $380, $385 what I pay here.
But you probably got it because he did
I got it when you opened
the discount. The discount code. Yeah, the
How many
discount
hours
code.
is that, Chris? How many hours is the total?
It's not very long. It's so I haven't calculated it out.
It's long.
No, actually it doesn't. It comes out to like less than 11. It's less than 10 hours total. I mean,
that's what
like
I
if you look
noticed from a lot of people, man. They charge you $500 and you get like 15 hours. It's not even a lot.
Yeah,
but
yeah. If I added all this up, it would probably be less than 8 hours. So
that's just 3 videos for me. Now I'm just playing.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Well,
very
so
true.
I haven't taken this course. I'm already in the process of trying out multiple different things because it's stuff like this where this looks absolutely horrible between him going through and charging $347 for mentorship, and then the inconsistency on his YouTube channel, and even the content he puts on YouTube. If you look back at it, most of it's duplicated. He posts the same thing over and over again, like the same content 6 months prior. He does the same thing, that I noticed as well. And so he's obviously in it for the money. I have no issue with somebody charging for their stuff. I just think it's pretty outrageous. And even the content that's in here.
He's a senior manager at PwC though. That carries a little weight for me.
Yeah, his most recent role was senior manager in Australia, PwC. Yeah, and so like we could pull up his LinkedIn here too. But like even if you look over the course itself, it's not that long. You know, that course isn't going to get you a job. So you'd be better off getting a certification, an industry certification if you're getting started, than taking that course for $500. And that's just the fact of the matter.
You don't think he's giving you no PwC insight in there? You don't think you get any value added for that? $347 for 45 minutes. I'm like, woo, that is what senior practice managers charge in real life, though. He's charging practice managers.
Chris, what you have to look at is that people that buy the service, they get job. You see me now? You have to look at what you return, what your ROI. That's what you have to look at. Not how much you pay an hour. I'm looking at what you return on investment.
So my problem is that a 45-minute with him isn't going to get you a job. His $500 course is not going to get you a job.
It does.
And okay, because so you got a job after completing this?
Where I've seen people, for example, you know Sandra?
Yeah, the Asian lady.
Sandra used the service, okay, because Sandra put out a video herself. He told
Well,
Sandra
I understand.
what to do on her resume, and Sandra got a job with Google, and she went to the interview.
Okay,
but she came and said the reason she didn't get it was because she wasn't well prepared, because there's a kid in the outside that she just couldn't explain. You know, so that yeah, go ahead.
But I think we're looking at it from a different perspective. For somebody who's starting out, I would never recommend something like this. Like if you don't have the Sec Plus, if you don't have, you know, any certifications at all, you'd be better off with that to get past HR and to get those fundamentals. Because even this right here, like what I do like about it is the fact that it's basically Ozier's GRC course mixed with the IT side of it. That's what I like about it. I'm not saying that the course is bad.
That's true. I like that about it. It's true.
Yeah. Like this, I like the way that he lined it out and everything else, how he mixed the two together. That's really good. But the price for somebody starting out, I mean, you can go get your Sec Plus for 300, 350.
It was 300 and some 350.
Yeah.
When the years came out.
Yeah. So I don't think I was explaining myself fully.
No.
And then also like the mentorship part of it, like there's way more options out there. Plenty of different people who are willing to help, as long as all you got to do is just ask for assistance. You just have to be like, hey,
that would be me.
What's up?
That would be me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's you and there's like 10 other people just in the Simply Cyber alone. And then I have more people on LinkedIn too.
Yeah, that's true.
That have, you know, senior director roles, you know, own businesses that, you know, know a lot of this stuff, who would be more than willing to.
Don't review my resume. Sean is very good. He just, that guy on Zoom, man, talking about what, 2 or 3 hours with me. He'll review my resume, you know, one-on-one, like, you know, that was really good.
Oh, so you did pay for the mentorship?
Yeah, Sean, from Simply Cyber, that was where I met him. He helped them to review resume. So I emailed him.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Unix guy. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the Unix guy.
No, I'm not talking about Unix guy. I'm talking about Sean, the guy that reviewed my resume.
So, Mr. Samuel, have you finished his course?
Yeah, I finished already.
Okay. How was it?
I liked it because I like it because his course is wide, it's broad, you know, third-party assessment, you know, great line of defense, you know. So he's broad. Okay, he talks about the technical part and the GRC part. Okay. That's what I like about it. And plus so the assignments, although it was a mock company that he took from the beginning, the assignment was just built on the same company from the beginning. Each session has an assignment that you have to do. You have to submit the assignment before you can see his answer. to the
If
question.
you want to come up, Min, or
Huh?
Don't let Min up. No, I'm just playing. I like Min.
oh yeah, block.
Like Min. No.
Professor is he's coming after me today. Now I just got a question, right? Like you guys are discussing the whole course criteria and everything. I think each and every one of you must have done that GRC masterclass, right?
I have not.
I
I'm not
did.
talking
I did, yeah.
you.
Okay, my bad.
You have your own course, okay?
Yeah.
But after that, how many of you have actually applied for a job and then got any feedback out of it?
I've applied for about what, 12 jobs now, but no feedback yet. I've applied and I'm still
Okay.
applying.
I think
Okay.
Min from that, I applied the job market is just crazy.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
find a
yeah.
job unless you get
Yeah.
selected. Most of the companies, you might get a ding letter. That's much feedback you're gonna get nowadays. I think it's
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
rude, especially if you're a young guy and you're trying to figure out if you want to ask them some questions. They don't do any of that now.
What
No, but
I
when
noticed about the
you're
job
applying
market now
for a
is this.
job, no, when you're applying for a job, do you think that you're actually filling up that criteria? Because all of you are in that beginner level, right? Except Prof or I don't know anyone else.
A couple
Um,
people, yeah.
yeah. Like when you're applying for the job, do you think that you're fulfilling their criteria or not?
I think so, but here's the thing. What I'm lacking, okay, what I see now, okay, even though the jobs are entry level, they still require at a minimum 2 years experience, 1 year
Yeah.
experience.
Exactly.
You understand me now? It's no longer entry level because, for example, I was doing the post today. Some of the jobs you have what 500 applications for one opening.
Yeah.
What that means is that the market is saturated. So what they've done, they now up the requirement in terms of the years of experience. It used to be 0 to 2 or 0 to 1, but now at a minimum 2 years. I'm at a minimum. So that now knock me off. I don't have that requirement now. You
So
understand me now?
basically, you're not
And you have
fulfilling
people,
the criteria, right?
hold on first. Then you have people who have what 5 years, 6 years experience looking for the same job. You see
Yeah.
my
So
thing? I don't
like
think how you
that's what
can.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
nothing
what
to
I'm
do.
saying, that this is a specialized field, right? Even though it doesn't feel specialized anymore because it's bullshit what people are doing. But it's a specialized field and there are a lot of gatekeepers. And I've had a chat with Prop about that as well.
Mhm.
So wouldn't you think that taking a step back, getting that little bit of fundamental knowledge, and I'm not saying waste your time, probably go into like a service desk role or an IT admin role, and then pull yourself up to that. But that gives you a lot of experience as well, rather than saying that I need to go into audit directly. Because in service desk, you do a lot of audits as well. You just don't know it that it's audit, but it is audit.
Mhm.
So have you guys
Okay, go for
actually
service
thought
desk
about
role.
Yeah.
that rather than doing that?
Yeah, I totally agree. But the service desk job you're talking about is hard to come by as well. You don't even see your seat where they ask you if you have experience a year and 2 years. It still
Yeah,
boils down to the same thing. It's
Mhm.
really hard. I've been looking for service desk jobs, and it's really hard to come by to see them online to apply.
Remote jobs or remote jobs or on-site jobs. Which one are you trying to get?
Anyone, remote,
anyone for
on
me.
site, yeah,
Anyone.
anyone will work. But I would prefer remote,
Preference on
honestly.
site, but
Yeah, I usually tell people just when you start, if you can, depending on your location, is on site's better because you cut out
You learn.
97% of your competition because you got to be in a driving radius of that particular job.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And like,
Plus,
yeah, and I
I
really
feel that
like.
you learn more.
Chris
True.
wants to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to add. I think that's actually a really good point to add on there because that's exactly what's happening. You know, that's where these courses come in and everything else. And I've taken both of Gerald's. I've taken a numerous other courses and everything else. I have not been applying to positions. I do have previous help desk experience, but that's also what a lot of different people recommend. Just taking these courses and everything are not going to get you prepared for the industry. It's just not true. You're not going to know until you're in it. And
Facts.
it's difficult to begin with. It's a specialized field. It's not like working fast food or something. It's not like
No.
that. You need to have that knowledge.
And I think
And
Even
so
I started as a service desk
taking that.
engineer
Mhm.
first. I did 1.5 years, which is more than 6 months what I expected to do. but that actually built the basis of what I'm doing right now. So if anyone tries to bullshit me in audit, I can call them out and say, no, you're doing the wrong thing.
Mm.
That
Yeah, it's
gives you the
something else
basics.
that I think it's a great thing to mention because I think that's something that a lot of people forget about.
Let me chime in. Let me get a piece of that. And I think what people missing is this just happened in the last 6 or 7 years. When I first started, you couldn't get in cybersecurity unless you did help desk, you did some IT, you were as an SA, you were a DBA. You had to have all that skills to get in cybersecurity. It just happened probably in the last 2 years with Security Plus and the certs where you could kind of shortcut that. In the old days, you got your foundation, I think, had to be a lot bigger. Right. And I think that's why you see a lot of gatekeeping today, because the boomers still run that, and a lot of boomers are still looking for that because they got degrees. All right. So that's my 2
Prof, you're
cents.
one of them.
I know, but I'm trying to let the people win. I'm trying to be nice. Back to Chris, man. Go ahead, Chris. Back to Chris. Go ahead.
No, but I'll add one more thing into that. Sorry, Chris. Is that cybersecurity has now become a specialized field, but before the system admin was doing cybersecurity, the network guys were doing cybersecurity, right? The application guys were doing cybersecurity, but now they made it into a specialized field. They just don't know it, right?
Yeah.
Just as an example, if someone is doing network segmentation, that's part of network security, but they're not going to call themselves network security specialist. They're still going to call themselves network engineer, right? So they actually broke it down. And now people are working towards that niche and saying, oh, I want to get into cybersecurity specialized thing. But a lot of you guys, you don't know what's exactly happening in cybersecurity. You just come in and you want to say that I want to do audits, but you don't understand what's really needed. Right?
Well, and then also on top of that is like taking these courses and even doing the mock assessments. It's not the real deal. And there's an abundance of help desk positions or other lower end positions that you could pivot into the audit portion of it. I think there's way more of that than audit, assessment, compliance, those positions. Those are much more specialized.
Audit, and Min knows this. Security teams be small. I worked in the state. We had 1,500 people in there. Our security team was 4 people. And for the state, we had a big security team. So security teams are usually pretty small. Go ahead, man.
We got 2,500 staff, and there are only 2 people for security.
Yeah, people think it's not like it's big, man.
Yeah, and so I went ahead and dropped it in the chat too. So Conduit, that's a company I've come across before, and they almost always have help desk available remote, and they hire left and right.
Hey,
like
what you do in the help desk?
I mean, that's where a lot of the customer service part comes in.
You listen to people crying.
Troubleshoot or what?
Yeah, reset passwords. For us, reset passwords. Usually there's a list of software we run that usually goes to the help desk. Did you reboot your PC? We get that a lot. Please reboot your laptop. So but like
that's where the thing came out. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah. But the other part, like Min said though, is for our help desk though, when you onboard, all those questions go to the help desk because they help people onboard. We make sure they get their laptops, they make sure they get their VPN. So part of your cybersecurity process is you got to make sure the help desk trained up. And the last hack that came out is they were tricking the help desk to reset passwords and letting people in. So you got to make sure your help desk is trained.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, and Min, I mean, that's a great portion to bring up there. So, and that's also one reason why I've said before that, you know, the certifications, you know, that's a HR thing. A lot of people talk about that, you know, that's HR to get you through the door. You know, and then the certificates, like that's, you know, knowledge is very useful, but I mean, just collecting certificates aren't going to help. So that's also something I've noticed too. Like what I have on LinkedIn is only a fraction of what I've done. So, because most of it, I mean, if I take an hour-long webinar or a couple-hour course or an 8-hour thing on this, it's not valuable enough for me to even try to fit on a resume or anything like that. Like that's just more knowledge for me to utilize later on, kind of thing.
But I think you brought up an excellent point, and I'm gonna stop bringing this up. And the one guy did it is, I think we should be doing my interviews at a big level so you can get kind of the feel of what that look for. And man, we had different conversations. We talk business impact analysis. What does that mean when you do it in real life, right? Somebody asked me a question. They said, "Oh no, it was for for CISP, right?" So when you do a business impact analysis to figure out what systems on there, because you got to rank them, what does that look like in real life, right? Or then when you have to interview people that don't want to be interviewed, what does that look like? Men know what that is. Or if your boss is telling you to do something that's not quite right from a corporate level, how do you handle that, right? And that's real life that gets in the way of cybersecurity, but that's real life cybersecurity, right? So how do you handle those different things? And I think from YouTube, and I think Gerald does a good piece of that, and he did parts is, I think we should be doing a CMC audit. What does that look like? Policies, procedures, incident response, running an incident exercise.
When are you going to do that?
I know I keep talking a lot, Caesar. That is a good point.
I'm telling you, like, you should definitely do it. You don't have to even do like a big stuff like Gerald. Just make it, I guess, in the video. Give the explanation, guys. This is what you need to do. This and this and this and this.
And before Mint came, we walked through that vendor assessment document. I think y'all like that, right? Something short and sweet. Get the hang of it. Talk about classification and movement of data, right? Stuff like that. Go ahead, Chris.
Here's an idea. You could start a new segment. You could call it, PBO, grilling days. And, you could just be outside grilling and talking about these different topics like any other day, and then just throw that into a course.
Fire idea.
I think what I need to do when I get this feedback from a lot of people is I need to pick a topic like we did today and just do 20 minutes, right? I think people love my content, but like most people say, people don't. That was 2 hours. That's a lot of video to look through, right?
And you know what it is, to be honest, too, because you give out so much good information. It's like you have to allocate 2 hours to it.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not going to be like walking away from YouTube or something like that. So I'll be honest. I'm one of those people where I subscribe down like, okay, I have to sit down and make time for this, and sometimes it gets difficult.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people. I try to do it in order. So my procurement was a great video. But I think it was 2 hours long. People was like, because I did it in order where I did a BIA for like 20 minutes. So people would look at that piece. Then they would come and look at the other piece. So that's one. And if you look at Ozier's video and the Unix guy video, their videos are short, like 5 minutes to the point. So that's something I personally need to work on.
You can have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, make it a series.
Yeah,
that is more better. Make it serious.
I know. You're 100% correct. I'm working on that, Samuel. I'm just kind of
just make it 10 minutes. Make it a series, man.
Then, but you talk.
When I watch part 1, I want to follow through with you.
But Sam, you teach like me, man. I'm old. We teach for an hour class, so that's how I do my video. I talk. I beat a couple people up. Next thing, me and Chris, it's an hour and a half. We done went for an hour and a half. So I'm trying to change my mindset. I'm changing my mindset.
Time yourself. Take a break. Take 15 minutes break. Every 15 minutes break.
I know it's hard.
It's one video.
It's hard for me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
We'll get it out of you one way or another. I mean, I have evidence proof that you've been talking about it for 3 years, so we'll get it out of you one way or another.
I'm gonna work on that. But I didn't surprise me. You said it was like 50 hours of stuff I had. I was like, wow, I got 50 hours. I didn't know it was that many. But yeah, so that's my compliance playlist. So I try to touch each of the big playlists or part like Zero Trust, 800 Tools 7. So
yeah, and so I dropped this in the chat for PBO's channel because this is one of the things that really, really helped me, especially earlier on, because I didn't understand what the different terms were, what the different frameworks were. I didn't even realize that I only needed to really focus on a couple of them. Originally, when the first month that I was even working on this stuff, I thought I had to learn it all. I thought I had to learn every framework that I could get my hands on, which was completely incorrect, thanks to PBO. And so what I did is on Notion, I actually went through and I put links for all of the different videos. I just skimmed through a bunch of these videos and some of his other playlists. And I just started picking through it, copying the link, putting down the time on a spreadsheet. And I calculated it all out. So it came out to about 55 hours worth of videos that I went through. And what I would do is I would just try to, I'm more productive if I wake up really early. So I actually try to wake up between 3 and 5 a.m.
Oh my God.
And I try to bust at least one of these out before the daily cyber threat briefing. And that's basically what I did for like a month. And, I was doing at least 1 or 2 of these a day. So,
and Chris would tell me, Chris would ask me questions about the video if some things weren't crystal clear. He would just ping me. So any of y'all here, y'all can just reach out to me, and like on Restream I use, we just do a private chat and we can just go over it. Or we could do it here. Like I said, I did the vendor risk assessment. So if you look at me in my videos and you need clarification, I might actually point you to another video. But if anything you look at on mine, or anything, me and men chat every now and then. If you had a specific question, you can always reach out to me. We can drill down into that. And if I know it, I know it. If I don't, I'll send you to somebody else. But most of that stuff, like I said, I've done in real life, especially on the GRC side. So,
well, and like the videos are long. A large majority of your videos are long, but it's so useful because then somebody asks a question and then you get a little off topic. But that's also where I learned a lot more of these different terms, like that you wouldn't get anywhere else. So there's so much more information because these, you had people asking questions and so forth.
Yeah,
and bringing up different topics too.
That's why I appreciate you, because you come up sometime and ask questions. So that's how people learn. And if you look in there, I did a zero trust, and that's what I might start doing. This lady asked me like 20 questions on zero trust. I think it's the third one down. That's before it's when I first did it. Questions with person-centered cyber. So we just chopped it up. She was just asking me questions. And so we just went through it, and she came up because she had a thing she wanted clarification. So we was just going back and forth, and my understanding of zero trust. And she's a policy savant. Her policies are nice. So if I have policy design questions, I always reach out to her, by the way. But no, we had a nice Q&A, and I need to do that more. A lot of people don't like doing Q&A like that in public, though. Most people just get me up on the side and ask me questions, but I really enjoy that Q&A. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I was going to say that's actually something I've noticed too, because I've talked with a few people now, and most people don't want to be streaming live on YouTube. So
but a lot of people, which is weird to me, because y'all know a lot of people get nervous. They don't want to come up in front of people, and I like my 9 people that was watching you made you nervous. I had 9 people in the chat. You got scared, but no, a lot of people. But I understand that. So like a lot of people, you can ping me and we can talk about something. But like Chris said, I got a ton of I try to do probably the 10 or 11, what I believe is the most used compliance. Then after that,
and you're going to
trust different terms. Go ahead.
And you're going to start streaming every Wednesday at 8 p.m., right?
No, it's supposed to be every Tuesday at 9, but we'll see. That's why I went yesterday. I'm trying to get back on track. I just been so busy.
We'll see.
But yeah. So those are I think the most popular compliances that are in that compliance checklist. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're good. Yeah, I was gonna bring this part back up. So this is what Samuel had shared. So he found this part here. So Archer training courses catalog. So getting started with Archer, deployment options. This 30-minute on-demand course explores deployment scenario available for Archer. User experience. Searches, reports, and dashboards. So but they take training credits. So yeah.
Those are free. The rest of them are Trump. Yeah.
Yeah. So they do have these 2 for free, is what it looks like.
Go down the list. So. Yeah, there are more. Go down the list here.
There's some more.
Okay. Yeah, these other ones are paid though. There is more free one.
Yeah,
okay. So there is a couple other. Yeah, so there's some free ones mixed in here.
Yeah, but Archer, the 800-pound gorilla in the last time I looked, it was. But like I said, the state got a discount, so if you go on Indeed, they are always looking for Archer talent.
Oh yeah.
So it's super popular.
Yeah, troubleshooting performance issues in Archer. Archer Engage, the basics and beyond.
Yeah, because they got a module for everything. They got a CMDB, where to go out and scan all your assets and bring them in. I did that part. Taking those assets like we did, you do a risk assessment or a vendor assessment, you can put them in there. Your vendor assessment will go to poems that those vendors need to do to fix it. You know, they actually go to a risk register, so all those modules link.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that part's really, really interesting. It still doesn't like, I don't know. I mean, at least it's something. So I mean, I can't really knock them too much. I mean, just the intro one there is 90 minutes. So at least they do have something out there, but I wish that there was more. I mean, maybe it is more in depth. It's better than nothing though. I'll drop that link again too. Samuel did post it earlier though.
Chris, it's
Yep.
8:20. 8:20.
Yep.
What
You
does that
start
mean?
winding down.
Yeah, I'm
8:20.
still.
Remember, we said we're going to skip it under 2 hours.
Oh no, no, I understand. Yeah, I'm gonna still keep going though. I still haven't even gone through all
okay.
my stuff.
All right.
Come on, PVO.
I'm in there, man. I'm in there for a little
I
longer.
learned from the best here. Look,
I'm checking my work. I'm supposed to have to work tonight, but the person didn't get their part finished. So I'm like, oh my God. So we'll see.
yeah, so I dropped that part and then I'll drop these links here too. So these articles I found kind of interesting. So if you guys come across anything throughout the week, you know, that's what we've typically done in the past is whatever you guys find interesting, we could share with each other. So like this first one is just regarding policy management. And so it knocks out a lot of the, you know, big key things that you need to keep in mind when not only developing policy, but the policy management side of it, because you got to revise them. You have to, you know, talk with the people and everything else. You know, you need to make sure that you're taking it into account. And so they do have some advertisement here, but overall it seems like a pretty good article as well. There's a lot more to policy management than I thought.
Oh,
so
yeah. That's a big subject unto itself that I suck at. But yeah, there's a ton of policy experts. My job is usually to get the information to them to get in the right framework. But each policy, you got to assess it, review it. Every year there's federal requirements that change. There's state requirements you need to put in there. Usually we run it by our legal staff. So that policy is a bigger game than most people realize. I usually shortchange it, but I need to put, as they say, I need to put some respect on a policy game. Go ahead, Chris. I need to put a little more respect on it. But yeah, it's a big deal, especially when you talk about this. There's 20 families.
Oh yeah.
Also,
I mean, there's.
Sorry, Chris. I think
Oh,
when you're writing a policy, you have to understand what your business requirement as well, right? If you're running legacy systems in the background that can only do like 6-character passwords without special characters, you have to understand that as well. So you can't just go in and write, oh, you need 12 characters and you're breaking your own policy, and the auditor comes in and say, what are you guys doing? You have to understand that as well.
I see that more. He know. When you see that more than you know, especially for a big company with a lot of systems. Right, because then you got to understand, because there's passwords on the database, the web server, the app server, so all of that rolls up into that master policy. So or that master procedure. A lot of times we put that in the procedures.
Well, and like one of the things that I never thought about before that I learned more recently is the fact of trying to actually manage the policies. If you're in charge of managing a business policies, you have to keep those updated too. Like.
It's a joke in the industry, man. It's a joke in the industry.
It is.
It's just a compliance check.
Yeah.
People don't look at it. Once they make the policy, they just tick off it and say, oh, 18th April 2022, we have to approve it for the next 2 years. Yeah. Oh, it's 2024. Let's change the date now. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. If you're like a proper CISO, you understand how security works. You have to keep improving your policy as well. But sometimes you might not be aligned with it.
And two is the good thing he brought up is now everybody's got the AI policy. So how does that fit in your organization? Are you using generative AI? So new technology makes your policy change, because everybody now is scrambling, like people got AI boards trying to figure out what can you use and what you can't use. So all that's gonna roll up into your policy. Robert, I thought you was going to bed, bro. You said good night a minute ago, Robert. He's still
okay, guys. I gotta go.
All right, Samuel.
All right, thank you.
See you later.
PBO, not tonight. Not tonight. You are not
nothing tonight, man. I went last night.
Oh man.
My fault,
Chris,
man.
I think we're going to convince you to go on Wednesday night. Oh, that was what we agreed on.
I know, man. I need to get better. I'm all over the place. Chris been getting on me, man. I'm just like a wild card out here, man. I just go when I feel like
That
it
schedule.
sometimes.
He said he was going to
Yeah,
try
you
to
need that
get
set
on
schedule.
Wednesday night. Okay.
I appreciate you, Samuel. Everybody have a good
All
night.
right,
Good
guys.
night,
Thank you,
Robert.
man. Appreciate it.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
see you
Everybody,
later.
thanks, everybody. Shady, are you still there? Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good
Okay.
night.
Anybody else I know? Sweet, everybody. Bye, guys.
See you later.
I'm gonna
All right, Chris. We'll talk later. Thank you.
Well, and so the reason I brought up the policy management part, so yes, I completely agree with you, and that was like the consensus I got too, is the fact that most people are just signing off on it and calling it good, but that's what needs to change in the industry. So especially us next in line need to realize that that's a problem and prevent that in the future, as we progress into the field. But
Well, I think we're wrong, but don't get me wrong. I think it's a baby step. Even though men's right, I think us realizing we need to even change the date is a big step. So most people don't have policies at all, right? So I think that's kind of a baby step.
oh God,
And
No,
headed
but
in the right
when
direction.
when I was doing an internal audit for ISO 27001, I went to my manager because it was an internal audit, right? So I went to my manager and said, "Look, you haven't updated the policies yet." And he goes like, "Oh, just wait a minute." And we came back and changed the date on it.
Yeah.
So, and as an internal auditor or even an external auditor, you can't say anything. You can't challenge them. The best that you can ask them is, "Are you sure that there has been no changes in the past 2 years that you want to bring it into your policy?" And if they say no, you can't challenge them. And it's frustrating for an auditor, right?
Yeah.
Like the threat landscape is changing, and you're telling me right here that nothing has changed. So, but as an auditor, you can't do anything. You just have to say yes and keep going.
The thing they're doing now to kind of push back on that, the IRS is doing it where they ask you, when did you update your policy? And if you did it in a month of the audit, they reject it. You got to at least do it 3 months before the audit. So they're trying to do minimal things to try.
also you can't update.
Because like men said, they know if you did it the same month as the audit, you didn't read it. You just stamped it. We know if you at least didn't do it 3 months ahead of time, you didn't do any due diligence to the policy before you signed it. So the IRS is like, even though it's kind of weak, they at least like to say, hey, you at least got to do it 3 months before the due date of when we're gonna audit you. Because I was like, me and used to come in, they would sign 20 audits in a week. I'm like, dude, did we change anything? Right. So as the growth of an industry, we trying to do something a little better. Go ahead, Chris.
oh yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, I mean that's the same stuff that I heard too. So, yeah, the webinar that I ended up attending, which I'll speak on it in a few more weeks. They did a whole thing about policy management and so forth. So I'm kind of giving it a trial and everything, and they're all industry experts as well. So like you guys are. So I mean it all matches up. The fact that a lot of people don't have the policies, the fact that they're not properly updated, the fact that they should be, the fact that all of these problems with it, and that's also why the policy management. And then there's the different frameworks that are coming out too that are putting more emphasis on policy management, like the new CSF 2.0. There's certain things in there that were updated to hopefully get that to be a thing, but it just seems like there's more that I've seen at least around policy management.
Yeah, I think that's kind of I wouldn't say hidden, but a lot of people don't talk about policy management. I've been playing around with Teams because in there you can use policy automate, so you can actually put a date on it. Then, like men said, it will remind you 3 months before the policy is signed to kind of get everybody on board. Then two is the IRS wants to see you have a board to talk about your policies. So we try to go on Teams and record us talking about the policies, talking about the enhancements, getting legal on the phone and see if there's any federal requirements. So we can record those so we actually not negligent and actually doing due care to actually talk about policies. So that's some things from a policy, I guess, flow.
Yeah, and keeping track of the revision and everything, like that part makes sense and something that you should do, but also like talking to the people and also making it more plain English. there's a government website. I don't remember it offhand. Let me see. So there's a government website that is about plain English or something like that. That is supposed to assist with policy making. Yeah, plainlanguage.gov. That's what it is. So I'll go ahead and pull that up on screen here. So plainlanguage.gov, they actually have training on here to assist with going through, I think this is it. Yeah, so there's an actual act that is regarding that. So the federal plain language guidelines, and then there was like other stuff that was published, but there's training material in here for policymaking as well on how to word things so that way it's easier for everyone to understand. And not like just straight legalese as well. So like this is a really cool resource too,
And to see
especially
that,
around the policy part.
and to see that
You
he's
what?
gonna be a CISO one day.
Oh, yeah, I thought he already was.
Yeah.
Man,
He's the
come
CISO of
on.
LinkedIn now.
Yeah.
He's doing
I'm gonna
100-day
put
challenge, 100-day CISO challenge.
All
that's what I'm
day,
gonna put on my recommendation for him.
all day, every day.
Congratulations, Caesar, on your
On
CISO.
copy pasting.
I'm trying to be somebody.
Be careful what you ask for
Um,
on that one, man. Be careful what you ask for, man. I know a
Yep,
couple CISOs never slept very well, so it's like, yeah, I'm good. But nah, shout out to them, man.
Yeah, but so like this was another interesting part that
Hold
I
on,
dug
Chris,
into because
Chris, hold tight. What you say, Robin? Go ahead, Robin.
I would just wanted to say thank you because you guys just have awesome resources, and I wanted to see if you guys heard about the cybersecurity RMF being free. Is that what you guys talked about last week?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
courses.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
posted
Okay.
it.
So
I
you did
posted it,
post
Chris.
it.
I think, or did you see it before me, Chris? I think I posted that too.
Yeah. There's gonna be a
I saw
marketing.
it beforehand.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Hey Robin,
Okay.
anything that you need GRC related, just go to the website, study GRC, and you're probably most likely gonna find it. And if you don't, obviously text Chris or even myself, and then I'm gonna go right ahead and text Chris or PBO regardless.
Thank
But
you,
and
Caesar.
so
at the
I
end of the day, I'll
appreciate
try to
that.
get you that info.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Thank
that's also what this whole group is all about. So
you. Yeah.
that's also where getting feedback to try to help each other out comes in. So like I attended a webinar and then I spent like 2 days looking into policy management. And so I'm sharing that with the community.
Mhm.
And then, like if you come across something that's the same thing, that's what we're here for. And so like
Yeah.
what are you working on?
And
Me?
GRC, we're getting ready for a SOC 2 Type 2 attestation. So we're getting all of our ducks in order. It's more the same things that you guys said, like they do it at the last minute.
Yeah, SOC 2, everybody
Do
loves
you need
SOC
a
2
CISO?
type.
Huh?
He was just, go
Do you
ahead,
need a
man.
CISO? Caesar's available.
Yo, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
my
he
God.
might. Well, I hear that he is trying to break in, so he may accept a lead auditor role if necessary.
Excuse me, he's not trying to break in. He's already in. He's the CISO of LinkedIn.
But yeah,
Poor Caesar. I'm sorry.
a lot of people like SOC 2 Type 2. I'm not a big fan, but a lot of company loves those. Like I said, so I usually push back on them, but a lot of company love those.
You're a NIST guy,
I
right?
think
Yeah, my only
53.
issue with it, it's usually done by accounting firm, and
It is.
they usually, and two, since the accounting firm, since you're their client, they usually have an agreement for the scope they're gonna do. So every time I look at a SOC 2 Type 2, it's missing something I think should be in there. Like I did a SOC 2, they didn't do any database checks because I guess their database sucks, so they didn't put it in scope. I'm like, come on, y'all. So that's my 2 cents. But
fair enough.
Yeah,
but
and at least with what I've seen. Yeah, what I've seen is the SOC 2, especially the SOC period is, I mean, that's like for business relations primarily. A lot of these startups and so forth, it's just a requirement in business now.
But
So
the crazy thing is, people take them. My boss, he doesn't like them, but we get them because if you do an RFP was in our state or RFI, you give it to somebody, they just salute the flag. They don't ask any questions. I get pushback from people like, we got a SOC 2 type 2. I'm like, so these my questions because they're not in your SOC type 2. A lot of people don't push back on that documentation. So I push back on FedRep SSPs if there's something I don't see in there and I think you're missing. I'm gonna ask the question. And a lot of auditors like me said, they don't push back. They just say this is it and just take it and run. So
Now, if you want to learn about that a little bit, have a read of Microsoft's SOC 2 report. That gives you a lot of insight. Like you're gonna learn a lot in that report. It's pretty good. It's fairly long, but it's good.
Yeah, I looked at their FedRAMP report, was excellent.
Yeah.
I think it was like 1,300 pages. It was unbelievable. Like you said, you learn a lot. I was like, man, they doing some out of this world security. You get to see how they're building stuff, domains, onboarding. It's fabulous.
You had I went through I think it's the Ryzen security report or something like that. I'd have to look it up again, but they do like an annual report as well, and that was really, really good.
Yep, I read
So
that.
lots of charts, lots of graphics. I like all the drawings that they put in there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It makes it a lot easier.
Caesar, when's the LinkedIn report coming out? Come on, man, we need you.
There's one every single day.
Give us the CISO report.
There's one
No,
every
where's the
single
CISO
day.
report for LinkedIn?
I'm not qualified for that, my friend.
Come
We
on.
trust
You're
you.
being humble.
We trust you.
Yeah, and see, like,
No.
yeah, like me, I don't think I even would accept that. Like, that's like, yeah, you'd have to deal with a lot there. I think there's a reason PBO is not a CISO.
Oh no,
So-
I know. The crazy thing is I helped a lot of CISOs, but that's a different ball game. And men knows a lot of that's political.
I don't want to be a
that's
CISO,
political. Yeah, a lot of that's political, and you don't even really talk about the security organization. You almost kissing babies as a CISO nowadays. So it's like, yeah. We got a hand up. What can we do for you?
I have a question, PBO, for you, because I overheard that you said there were some pushbacks for the audit, right?
Mhm.
Can you share what scenario was that pushback on? Like,
Oh, Ben can chime in. You get pushbacks a lot of times, especially for the technology. I tell the DBA I don't like how they doing access control, and they tell me to pound sand, right? So it's you're gonna get a lot of pushbacks. DBAs, developers don't want you to change anything. I'm telling you, your encryption is garbage. It's not FIPS 140-2 certified. Yeah, I've got encryption from 2 dudes in the garage that's open source. It's not been validated. They'll push back because what they'll tell you is, and men's laughing is, you're stopping the business from making money, right? So now you're impediment. So you got to balance security with money. Chime in on that, man. I see you smiling. Chime in on that.
No, I think you're absolutely right, especially for a company that's doing internal software development. So they don't want to spend a lot of money. They just go open source. And that's a really bad thing for security because you don't know what's going to happen. And when you go to them and tell them like that's not the right thing to do, they started shouting and they caused problems. Yeah.
And two is my favorite one, man, is they tell the CEO, and now the CEO's talking to the CISO saying we blocking business, right? So, that they're running up the chain, and you will see that a lot. So what I try to do, and we had a different conversation, is you got to go out to the business and the business unit and try to say, I am a partner to help you. I don't want us to end on the news. Let's do a collaboration. But sometimes they say, pound sand, you in the way of us. Once again, they're doing features. Most people don't care about security until they get hacked. So that's the give and take. And I promise you, I've been in a lot of discussions where you block a business, security don't know what they're talking about. Where did he get this from? So you got to have your documentation in a row because they're going to challenge you, especially when I've been in a lot of, I ain't gonna say a lot, I've been in a few shouting matches with CTOs because they told me I didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, okay, let's roll up the sleeves. Here's the NIST. Here's the STIG checks. This is where I got it from. This is what the IRS requested. Where did you get yours from, right? So a lot of times, and I shouldn't say this, and that's kind of from my background, I'm gonna punch you in your throat to let you know I'm for real. So let's start. Sometimes sometimes you gotta read the room. I'll just come in just throwing out regulations, saying we're in violation. I'm gonna say you're gonna get us a fine because I can tell you're gonna be a problem. So I'm gonna attack you in a meeting. Now, see, she done woke me up, y'all. I done got excited up in here. But now you can read, and men's laughing, you're gonna get a lot of pushback, especially from the development team. You want to chime in on that,
I've heard
man?
other people.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that I've heard the same thing from other people too, and some of the other like webinars and other people on YouTube as well, where they talk about like especially like when like app development, software development, you know, they're trying to push out a product to make money, and so your security controls, your security requirements, and everything else that you're trying to get implemented or get checked out, that costs time and money and effort and people, and you know, it's commonly a cost.
And a lot of time, and men knows this a lot of times is, especially if they got legacy software, you can say something that's basic encryption, that could be a whole rewrite to a base level module that could take them 2 months, and they got to rip half their stuff out because they built it on some open source stuff that's not even secure. So now they're really pushing back because it's a major rewrite.
Okay.
So
yeah.
And I think that's when you guys, like, if this kind of stuff actually happens, this is like the real life stuff, right? So when you're doing an audit, let's say that the software development team don't want to change, then we have to do a risk assessment, right? And understand what's going to happen. That's why you guys come in and you do the audit, like the first line audit, the GRC level 1 audit. But if you don't know how to take all those details properly, we can do our job on the senior level, right? So if they're saying that we're using this open source stuff, and the person said that there are no vulnerabilities around that, that doesn't mean there aren't. You have to do your due diligence when you're doing the audit as well, and make it easier for the senior analyst to understand that this is our threat attack surface and what kind of compensatory controls we need around that. But that's the real life experience that you don't have. That's where the problem comes in.
And men knows this is probably only large companies actually doing a risk level at that. You don't see that in small companies. So you got to be at a certain level of maturity and risk to do that. And right, and that's kind of one of my favorites, because I programmed for 10 years in Java, Oracle, so I understand those connections. I understand some of the development team's pain, so I can have those conversations. And a lot of times when I'm getting embedded in an organization, I try to do coding in that language so I have a base understanding when I talk to those guys. Are you using JDBC? Are you using ASP? Are you using C#? What is the Microsoft preferred way to do encryption that's federal level? So when I talk to those guys, I already have a solution in my mind that I'm gonna propose if they're not doing the right thing. Now they might not agree with my solution, but I always try to have something that says, okay, I'm telling you to change, but here's a solution, right, to help you move in the right direction. So let me know if that makes sense. But you got any other questions? But yeah, those are the pushbacks you get. And a lot of times when you work for a bigger company as a security person, that's the domain knowledge they're going to ask you. Are you an application developer? Are you doing static analysis, dynamic analysis? Are you a database security guy? Are you a web server security guy? Because each one of those devices really has a different form of security from a security architecture, right? But now we're talking about a senior level role. Don't get this. A junior person wouldn't do that, right? Those are senior level skills that you will build up to over time.
That was helpful. Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, you're going to get a lot. I've been into some shouting matches. I had a guy told me to my face, I had no idea what security I was doing. So why did this lady hire me? So.
Yeah, and there we go. See, now you're ready to go for your 9 o'clock showing on live stream, right?
Because I was insulted, but as the kids say, I want all the smoke. That's what I tell her, like the kids say, I want all the smoke. So I'm used to that now. My boss used to laugh at me. She said, I can see you going in stretching, ready for a fight. I'm like, anytime, anywhere, let's go, big boss, let's go. I'm warming up. I'm ready for the fight. So And two, a lot
Yeah,
of
and
times people will challenge you just to see if they can run over you. So, go ahead,
yeah,
Chris.
especially in business, I've heard
Oh,
similar to that.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think what it all really boils down to is money. You know, time is
Oh, right.
money, effort's money. You know, all of this stuff comes down to money on the business side of things. So,
But
you
two
know,
is
as
you got to be careful
like,
how you handle it, because somebody done all this coding. I just came in and said, "Yeah, that encryption you doing has been insecure for 10 years." They take that personally, right? So sometimes you got to
yeah,
word it. So I try to be careful about. Okay, this is a new design. This is some federal special stuff. This
It's
is
not what
not
you say, it's
personal.
how you say it.
Yeah, so two is so I try to endear myself with them because I don't want to come in and say, yeah, your code's a bunch of crap, right? So
yeah, I think that's a really good point to make as well. And I mean, that would even coincide with like knowing your people as well. Like if you know, actually communicating with the normal development teams, you know, like if your company's making apps or something like that, you know, talk to them, you know, have some type of
well,
like professional relationship.
what I try to do is I tell people if you got a development team, they usually have stand-ups, which I hate. I would try to go to the stand-ups and they have backlogs and requirements. So I try to put my security requirements in their backlog so they can work at it, at their own pace. Once I say in backlog, the two is they have different sprints. So once a quarter, I try to get a 2-week security sprints. Here's all the security findings. Can we do it in this sprint and just have a let's lock it down security party, right? So the two is get management to sign off on that. You rank these guys on features and stuff. Can we get a security sprint in there at least once a quarter so we can knock some of these security ideas? So those some things you try to bring to the different teams. And like you said, then your teams get comfortable too, because I'm in there with them going through the STIG checks, because some of that stuff's hard to read, talking about mitigated controls and talking about architecture from different designs to try to,
Yeah.
get involved in this, get involved in the development and just not come in from security with bad news all the time.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that part because I think that might be overlooked in some businesses too, is, you know, when you work in the GRC, you know, audit compliance side of things, then, you know, you're not out talking to everybody and so forth. But I mean, if you can, you should.
Oh,
Like,
I did. I
yeah,
did.
That's
But
gonna be 100% me.
it took,
yeah,
but see, that's why I say a lot of times when I got in security, it was more of apprenticeship. So I did most of the jobs. So I could have those
yeah,
conversations. Like I was an Oracle DBA for 3 or 4 years. I programmed Java with Oracle for it. I was a web server and an app server admin for 5 years. So I did each one of those
programmer.
different. I love programming. That's my first love, man. Back then, security guys made more money than programmers. So, and two is you get PSD because you put something in program. I brought a whole production down. Everybody's yelling at me. GRC, you very rarely do that, right? So you don't worry about knocking the production down. But nah, that's a whole other story. But
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's good information to have. I mean, I think that's one thing that I feel I would do a pretty good job at because, you know, the IT side is really interesting. I just don't want to be behind a terminal all day. So, yeah, or installing hardware. Those I would prefer, you know, talking with people, doing policies and procedures, working in, you know, those kind of things, and you know, talking with people. So,
But yeah, I have jobs where I've looked at architectural designs from teams or to help security architecture, talk to CTOs, actually talk to CISOs, like men said, these are the risks of the things. Do you want to accept it? Here's the risk if something goes down. Here's our mitigating control, which we looked at a little bit at a high level from the vendor assessment, right? So those are the things you follow up to those bigger meetings to
yeah.
come up with the risk you want to tell senior management. So.
Yeah, and that's also where you become like a translator in GRC. So,
Oh,
you know,
100%.
translating business to the IT or other domain. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, and then
really
I
knowing
also
how to talk, really. Or talking to
Well,
them.
I think the big deal is it took me a while to figure it out is it's as you go up the ladder and you talk to people, you use less technology speak. So it's weird. So when I talk to CISO and CEO, I don't really talk a lot of tech, right? I'm usually talking risk, dollar, and when it's gonna get done. Now, when I'm talking to development staff, we get nitty-gritty in the tech. So that was the weird thing. Because really, the CI don't give a shit if it's Linux, Windows. Did we get hacked? How long is it gonna take? What's our fire? How much money is gonna cost me? That's all really they want to know.
yeah, and Caesar, like PBO can talk about that part too, but Like that's also why it's important knowing what you're putting controls in place for.
Yeah.
Like you at least need to have some type of understanding, like what does a web server do?
Yeah.
You know, what does, what's what's POP3? You know, what's TCP? You know, just having an understanding of what things are, so that way you can have those conversations with these other departments.
Yeah.
That's pretty important. So
because the tech guy's gonna try you to see if you know what you're doing.
yeah, you request a server log and they send you the wrong one.
Oh, I've seen that a lot of times. Then two is, like we were talking about yesterday, we went over what went into Splunk and the MITRE attack, right? What does that look like from an AI perspective now? So, like you said, all that stuff rolls up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did anybody else have anything else to bring up or add? We're coming up to what, almost 2.5 hours?
It is. Anybody got any questions for me? I'm winding down. I'm up here rambling now, but now you will be too. It depends on the organization if you want to challenge. Some organizations are peachy clean and everybody gets along, but some organizations it's a free for all. Go ahead, Caesar.
No, I was just basically this is gonna be is in the cybersecurity general, but maybe if anything is gonna be more interesting about and me and Chris were talking about that in October. The new what Chris, what is it? The Wild West hackathon or what is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Wild West Hackfest.
Yeah, the Hackfest.
What about it? Y'all gonna do it?
I'll be there.
Chris is gonna be there. I'm gonna be there as well. I'm actually planning. I need to buy my flight and buy the tickets. There's like 350 tickets left.
Are you gonna get to the Hackfest or y'all just going to check it out?
No, we're going in.
Yeah, I got my ticket already. I got everything lined out. I'm very excited. That's going to be my first official con, and it's about 7 hours away.
Where's it happening?
Is South Dakota?
It's October. Yeah, it's in South Dakota.
Okay.
Yeah, in Deadwood.
She kind of her voice went down when you said South Dakota. No. She's like, South Dakota.
Yeah.
No, I'm just teasing. I'm teasing.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
She was excited.
Also, like I'm in North Dakota, so like, I mean, that's like the closest thing to me. The next closest place would be Minneapolis, and I don't particularly have a demand or a desire to go down to Minneapolis. So,
Chris, if you don't mind, can you put a link down for that, please?
I already dropped it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I've only went to one. There's a few that comes to Indiana, so
yeah,
that local
it seems
ISA Square has their local meeting here. Because remember that one guy came up. We were talking about that HIPAA guy. I'm supposed to go to lunch with his. I'm supposed to go to lunch with his boss in a couple of weeks. So
yeah. I mean, I'm really excited about it. So I was gonna do one of the trainings, but like, I mean, honestly, they just don't really have anything that really applies to it. I think there was only like one thing. Defending the enterprise was the only thing that really kind of coincided with the GRC side.
Oh, that was now that you're talking about that, I know I did ask you a question because I know on the 8th they're actually starting from 9 in the morning all the way to 5 in the afternoon. What type of training, and that's Siphon training, if I'm not mistaken, what type of training are they going to be even doing?
So they have all of that listed on the link that I gave you. There's like 15 different courses for you to pick from. And so you do have to pay for that. So almost all of them are like over $1,000. So I think there's a couple that are around 500 or 600, and then the rest of them are like $1,000 and up. So it does. And so I was originally going to sign up for one of them, but then after I looked at it, there's just like PBO said earlier, I'm frugal about it. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I can go
I'm
ahead.
actually seeing that right now.
Yeah, so I will wait until they have their online on-demand version, and then I'll pay the $425 for it. So I'm okay with doing it online. So, but I mean, it is amazing training. Like if I was going on the IT side of things, then I would 100% get at least one of those. But since it's not really the IT side of things, it's just not as valuable. So, because I mean, they have some really good things like Intro to Python, Defending the Enterprise. They got CTI 101. They even have an introduction to cybersecurity and space systems.
Oh, wow.
Like, where else are you going to even find that? That's crazy. So they have some really, really, really good stuff. I wish that there were other things like what would be really cool is like if Gerald did a 16-hour course for those 2 days.
Oh man. I know.
Yeah.
And this one as well. I think PBO should do like a course there too, live.
We want him to do his actual course first. I think he might be on a call or something, but
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, no, that's a good point to bring up. Is the Wild West Hacking Fest
Yeah,
portion.
I'm excited for that. Really, to be honest with you, this will be like literally my first one.
Yeah, it'll be my first con. So yeah, and then next year I'm hoping like they have the RSAC in San Francisco on the 5th and 6th, I think. And so I won't be attending that this year, but I hope to attend that one next year. So that's a really big one as well. But
I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
there's several.
Which one? Can you repeat that again, please?
I think it's RSAC, I think is what it's called.
And there's a lot. I'm gonna start attending because there's like a few here in Austin.
It's 10 o'clock.
Hey,
Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next week, okay?
You have a good night, Robin.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
You as well. You have a good
Come on.
night.
Thank you.
Come on.
Good night.
See.
Good night.
Have a good night.
You know.
All right, headed
You're breaking up,
end
Chris.
again next week. I said I'm going to go ahead and end this. So yep. So we'll go ahead and end the stream, and we'll be back on Monday. Actually, yep. So Monday at noon CST,
Awesome.
and then again Wednesday night.